Here we go, everybody. Yeah. So listen, here's the deal, guys. As I do hear D coming back. Guys, we were having some Discord issues, and we just figured it out. Sorry we're about 20 minutes late. I apologize for all of you that are listening live right now. We've got a great show for you guys, by the way. But, this is the best part about live, right? Anytime you're doing it live, you're gonna have some issues in the background. And here, Discord just completely blew up. I don't know what the hell the problem was, but it just wasn't good. But we figured it out, guys. Please do like the video as we sit here. 111 already here, and we were late, so I appreciate that. Please do me a favor and tweet it out, repost it, do whatever. Hit those buttons right above that fantastic description right there at the join button. You can hit that button and become part of the Mooch Maniac family members. You would mean the world to me if you could do that. Not just that, with the plethora of games, it helps the Mooch review those games for you guys and talk about it. So I do appreciate that as well. Guys, without further ado, we'll get right into this real quick, and I'll start with the one and only Death Singer. Death Singer, we were wondering what was going on when we lost Tim and we lost D, and we were saying, I'm like, Death Singer's over in England. I'm like, if we're talking from New York to England, it can't, I don't know what it could be. What could the problem be? Death Singer, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, I gave my honest opinions. It's like, it's the same stance I've had long before I even joined Scumcast with Luca and the boys.
Shout out to Luca.
And it's like, I've always held the same stance when it comes to these showcases. Now people are acting all brand new. Like I got some kind of new energy. Haven't you been paying attention? I mean, come on now, people.
Come on, people. There you go. That's like
I've kept the same stance for...
I got news for you.
Years now, like this ain't new. I don't know what to tell you. Welcome to the show, I guess.
You guys are going to love Death Singer tonight. If you don't already love him, boy, put your seatbelt on. You're going to love him tonight. The great Death Singer, everybody. Death, great to have you with us. Speaking of great people, the great Tim Dog is back on the show. And we were having a great pre-show before Discord absolutely bombed. But Tim, great to have you back on the show, buddy. I want to have you on a lot more, but I know that you stepped away a bit from the podcast and you do a great solo cast. I know I love when you go solo, but I got to tell you, we need you back on podcast more often, buddy. You're very opinionated, and that's what podcasts are built off of. So, Tim, great to have you back on the show. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very happy. I got a new lease on life. I'm doing good, man. I'm very invigorated, and I mean, when the news is like pertinent, like today, I'll definitely come on by, and always happy to be here. You gotta. Mooch, I'm a fan of you. You've always done a great job. And
Thank you, Tim.
I'm happy you're still doing it. You've
it's a long
been doing
time.
It now, what, 10 years, right?
So we said 2014 we started.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Well, that's great, man. It's great. And you're dedicated and you do a good job.
I think, you know what it is, Tim? I always say this, right? Consistency is everything, right? Even if you have a local pizzeria that's open till about 12 or 1 in the morning and you go, it's an okay slice, but guess what? You're still going to go there. It's on time and it's a hot pizza. You're going to order it. So you know what I mean? Consistency is king, I think, when it comes down to it, Tim. Or maybe that's just the New York style of sense we have when it comes to pizza. As long as it's hot, fresh, and on time, I'm okay with it. Tim, great to have you here. D-Batch, now this is not just a welcoming D-Batch to the show. This is also, where's my software engineer when you need him? The great D-Batch is back with us. D, there you are, D. D, you're back with us. It's great to have you.
Yeah, man, this is like my first time on the net or on a podcast or anything YouTube related for almost 2 months, man. I took a break.
That's too long.
You know what, man? I just the summertime I usually do take a break because it's kind of slow season. I went to Florida, had a blast down there. I came back, bought 2 Teslas. I've been playing with my toys, and I don't know, man. I just wanted to take a break, man. But I'm gonna be coming back, and I guess tonight is my entrance back into the YouTube realm. So
listen, I'm very honored that you chose CrossFire to be that entrance back into the realm. And D, I'm going through all my contacts, and I said, it's been a long time since I asked D-Bash to get on the show. We got to get him on this show. Jackknife goes, Mooch, don't ever leave us. Buddy, I always said, as long as you guys come to listen, I'm going to do the show. You know what I mean? Because it's like me and Tim were saying before the show even started. Love doing this. I was always wondering if WNBC would give a call. They never gave a call. We're still waiting for that call, nonetheless. But D, great to have you here. Guys, please do hit that like button. It is going to be a fantastic show. We have more people joining as the hour goes on. Jez7780 is going to be joining us. Hopefully, Nib, if he didn't take a nap, we'll find out. And also, we have Wooly Gamer joining us second hour, and hopefully Red will be joining us as well. It's been so long since Red's been on the show. We're going to get Red back on here one way or the other. But Tim, I'll put you on the hot seat, Tim, because you're a special guest here, and I want to say, me and you had some great dialogue back and forth on X today, and you put this out there, and I'm just going to read it because I want the audience to hear it. We were talking about what was going on with Forza. We're going to start with Forza Horizon 6 and what happened basically at the Xbox at Tokyo Game Show. And there's a lot to discuss here and kind of peel the onion back. It's not just as easy as yes or no. Tim's got a great idea and thought moving forward. I don't have a counter to it. I just kind of have a what if. It's a what if situation. But Tim says console business is actually a great industry to be in. And he goes, why? Expectations have changed on its pricing. The companies will change more and make more, which is this is true, because much as gamers go crazy about price and how they won't buy it, they will buy it. The market of consoles is changing, but not in a way that specific people have told you. It's going to change in a different way and already has. I will speak on this tonight on Mooch's show, so I appreciate you being here. Tim, we were going back and forth about Forza Horizon 6, and I'll let you speak to the audience. Tim, what's your rationale on Forza Horizon 6 not launching day and date on PS5? Tim, you're still muted. I don't know if you know that. Just want to let Tim know that.
Yes, hopefully no more technical difficulties.
No more technical difficulties.
I seem to have really bad luck with you, Mooch.
I know, right?
I don't know what it is.
It's 3 for 3.
Man. We've remember the one show we couldn't even get on. I was like, I just left. I just said I can't deal with this. Anyway, honestly, I think it's a decision that was consciously made. So I mean, it's not a developer's decision. It's something that Xbox is talking about and looking about, and I think it ties into yet again another pivot, but this pivot is kind of a pivot that I kind of can get behind. And the reason why I say it's not a developmental thing is because look, they just made Forza Horizon, and it made a ton of money on PlayStation.
Yep.
So you would think conventional wisdom would be like, okay, well, you're going to get day one. You're going to knock it out of the ballpark, right? So I think what's going on is now Xbox they're distancing themselves with the hardware that they have in this generation, and they're looking towards the next generation. And if you look at it logically, now I'm not saying that the console's coming out in 2026. But I do think that there's now yet more talk about what can they do to provide a better value proposition to an Xbox ecosystem guy or somebody who's considering Xbox. Right. If you have all your games day one, the bottom line is that it's just not a thing that, in my opinion, Game Pass alone can sustain. It's just you're basically giving away all your marbles. So in a way, if you can say, hey, and this is what I'm hoping, and I think Doom maybe opened their eyes to this, because if you remember, people will say case by case. That was always their thing. If it was case by case, it wouldn't have went from multi to exclusive back to multi.
Right.
So Doom comes out and it doesn't do the numbers. And guess what? Their big, huge plan is maybe now like, hey, okay, well, now we're doing a console, whatever, they're doing the third-party OEMs, but they're also doing their own console with the proposition of, hey, we have Steam, you can play all your games here, storefronts, this and that. They still also are, in a way, competing with Sony, even though they have much different expectations now. But the reality is that if you're coming out the same window as Sony, there's no way, if you're like, let's just say Blade might be a game that they do now. Blade's not really a great example because they might be tied in with Marvel with a contract, but let's just say it's Halo. If you release that on PlayStation and Xbox the same, and they both come out at the same time, Xbox 100%, in my opinion, is going to be more expensive than Sony. They're not taking a loss on it, and they're also not in the same market. They're not looking for 150 plus million users. They're looking more so. They're looking 20 to 40, at max 50. But they're looking to maximize that potential for those users. So they're going to basically price them, or they're going to want to make money on them. So if you don't have that, then you have a major problem. You're basically you're shortchanging your console right off the bat. And that was my big argument. The reality is, even if it's timed, exclusives matter. This whole thing that exclusives are going away and consoles are dying, that was all BS, and that's why I went nuts, because I knew what was going on. The reality is, consoles still matter. Sony's making a ton of money, and exclusives still matter. Okay, but now when I talk about the perspective, gamers for a long time held their ground, and they had the industry so spooked to where a guy like Sean Layden was saying, hey, we have to make these tight fit games in 20 hours. The reason why he said that comment at the start of this, or the generation, or when they were talking about PlayStation, because there was a lot of pressure. These games cost a lot of money. The people aren't buying them. They're buying them $60 games, $70 games. The reality is that, and you're going to see this with GTA 6, and you're going to see this with the next consoles. You've already seen it with the console raising. Gaming's going to get much more expensive. And you know what? We're going to bitch and we're going to complain, and that worked in the past. Guess what? They're calling our bluff now. And guess what? We're going to still buy it. Because if you can charge somebody $100, let's just say arbitrarily that's the number, but you're giving them 60 hours of gameplay, in a way you could just say, and then you're going to deal with that with GT6. It's and that's if it's 100. That's
right.
A proposition you can get away with. So the way the industry, I see it going is that things are going to cost a lot more.
Yeah.
So now if Xbox can get themselves where they have a very good proposition versus against Sony, which is going to be cheaper, have exclusives, they can take the market not back wholly, but they can take some of that market that they lost, because right now it's completely lopsided. They're taking their Xboxes off shelves. They're charging a $640 for an Xbox Series X or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. They don't care, but they realize that they can charge more, and they will charge more. And guess what, gamers? You're gonna pay. It's just that they weren't willing to call your bluff all this time. But GTA 6 is gonna even prove it more. Because when you see the pricing on that, you're gonna be like, everyone's gonna go crazy. But just like the Switch, they're going to buy it day one and go crazy. It's going to be sold out.
Yeah, everybody was saying the Switch was not going to sell. You're right. And then it broke records.
Broke records. So that's my take. And I think Xbox is actually really looking at this again. And in my opinion, it's the right decision. Listen, I was very critical, but if they're going to do the right thing and they're going to make Xbox more attractive to people, and it's better.
Tim, let me just play devil's advocate, because it makes for a great podcast. I completely see where you're going, and I see the logic. My only thing is this. So let's just use Forza Horizon 6 as the model, right? Right now, we know Costco, Sam's Club, and other retailers are not selling the console anymore. This game, Forza Horizon, is coming out next year, so there's no new console coming out next year. I said to you online, my response was, hey, Tim, I hear what you're saying, but I really think that this is a situation where the devs just needed more time. Microsoft wasn't, I don't think every team, like we can even see that with Starfield. Pete Hines and them have been very vocal how they would love to have been across multi-platforms, but there's still no Starfield, which, listen, a lot of leakers that are in the know say it's coming. That's fine. I'm not discrediting them. I'm saying to you, they needed time. Playground Games is also, I know they have a big team. I know it's a separate team. I understand. We're going to hear all that. Tim, we've been doing this for a long time. Right. There's separate teams. Yes. I'm not saying one team's making Fable and the same team's making, no, that's insane.
Right.
But there are people that are working on assets to help Fable grow. So when this game was going to be released, they probably said, we need more time. And that's what kind of D Batch was getting into before the show started too. And I'll let D speak more on it. I won't speak for D. But I think this team needs more time because they were not prepared for this. And I think you're also going to see it release on PS5 2 to 3 months after it releases on Xbox. Or very, very short. I shouldn't say 3 months, but very shortly. It's not going to be a year or two. So if they're not selling consoles, right? If they're not selling consoles right now, Game Pass is not jumping by anywhere near the numbers that they need it to do. No. They kind of need the PlayStation money. They need that money. So I don't think they're doing this pivot that you think, because it's not adding up. The number, and plus when you look at Xbox One, when they went from 50, 60 million consoles to now they're in the 30 range, 35 million. The numbers aren't there. They've made the decision to go full in. And you saw Mike Ibarra today. He came out. Shout out to Mike Ibarra. He was on the show a long time ago. Mike said, listen, you're in or you're out of the pool. You're either going full third party or you're not. But this back and forth, it's so confusing. You'll even lose more people, Tim.
Listen, this is what I also said. Xbox at this point, strategically now, because they got a little bit of a buzz right now, they got to be transparent. And they listen, I know for a fact they're talking about this. They are talking about this. Now, listen, you are probably right. But they also are looking at a value proposition where they can give you timed exclusives and next generation hardware when it comes out. Maybe, you know how they had Project Latitude and they were like, what is this? Maybe they have Project Horizon now. Okay, well, look, you're right. There's still consoles to be bought. But the reality is that if you're going to make a new console and you have, listen, what do we all talk about? You want to have robust lineups when you launch your console, right? You want to sell your console. If those games are coming out the same day as PlayStation, let's say you share the same week as releases, nobody's going to buy your hardware. So my thing is this, and I agree with you, and it's all plausible what you're saying. This is the things that I believe Xbox has to do. They have to be, there is a conversation. There are people, I know, listen, I know Phil probably didn't want to do the whole thing. And that's why, and I speak to this, you know, that's why he had that weird podcast. He said the 4 games. Right. But he basically was, his foot was held to the fire, as they say. Right. They basically were like, you're doing this. Now, I had my time, and, you know, looking back, I was extremely harsh on Phil. And most of it was warranted, but I did go overboard. And I thought about this the other day. Phil always defended me. When people said Timmy was a crazy fanboy, why are you dealing with him? Why do you accept him? I have to say, Phil 100% always backed me. So on Phil's perspective, he's like, well, I've done that, and now the one time this happens, and maybe I can't discuss it with Tim because it's you know, stuff that's private with the company, you know, he drops me. But I could see his perspective now. I didn't see it at the time. I was completely infuriated when that happened. But the reality is we're looking at it. The trajectory is they saw the numbers. They saw it. I just don't think they communicated it at the time, or they didn't think about what you should do. They basically were shaking in their boots, and they didn't think. What they should have done from the start is give a value proposition and say, hey, games are going to PlayStation, every single game. But you know what? You're getting it for 6 months. And they stuck to it. You wouldn't have lost. You wouldn't be selling Costco's right now. So here's the thing, and I'm going to shut up after this. Fable is the real one. If that comes out the same day, then you're right. They are going full third party. And to speak to Mike Ybarra, he's 100% right. This going back forth, question here, there, that is unrest. People are just going to say, throw their hands up and say, I'm buying the PlayStation. I'm buying Nintendo. Xbox at this point really has maybe a shot to say, hey, let's talk to the fans. Let's come clean. And let's have a fucking plan that they can get behind. Yeah. They don't do that. The reality is that it's just a matter of time before they're just a third party software type deal, EA.
No, and you know, Tim, it's wishful thinking. The question, and this is rhetorical. I mean, you guys think that for the audience, I want the panel to chat on this. And welcome to the great Jay Barry and also Brap to the show. Is it a little too late? Yeah, I don't know. Dee, did you want to comment on this? Because I know we were having this discussion before the show.
Yeah, so I think they're just gonna baby the crowd, right? I think they learned from the last time when they announced Indiana Jones coming to the PlayStation, you know, well before it was due to come to the PlayStation. I think they've learned from that. I know Microsoft as a company, and they like money, and they've always liked money. That's never changed. I just think now that they've seen all the money that they earned from PlayStation with the games that they have released over there, that there's no way in hell that they're not going to continue to release those games because they need to make the money. Their consoles, they already screwed themselves by what they did. So, you know, they're already in. So what I think is going to happen is I think closer to the release date of Forza Horizon 6, that's when we're going to start to find out the PlayStation information. I think up until it's coming out, we're just going to be getting information on the Xbox version. I think personally, their template now for releasing their games, they might walk back the day and date Looks like it.
That's
maybe
perfect. That's what I want.
And I think they're gonna do like a 3-month, like what they did.
That's all they gotta do.
I think
that's all they gotta do, D.
I think
that's
I think I think they're gonna do what they did with Indiana Jones, and personally, I think that's a win-win because I don't think PlayStation gamers care if they wait 3 months for those games.
No.
And I think it's a win-win for Microsoft because they can get the Game Pass people and they can get the Xbox gamers and they can kill some of that noise of all of the exclusives going to the PlayStation. I think that's what they're going to do.
So
3-month window.
D, let me say this real quick because I say this every week on the show, guys. I say as gamers, we all have short-term memory. If you go back, me and Crap were saying this a long time ago, but instead of saying it with the day and date option, we were saying the same thing with day and date in the Game Pass. To keep the console relevant, they should have waited 3 to 6 months and then put their first-party games in the Game Pass, which still gives Game Pass a tremendous value, but it gave the console a reason to exist. Now we're saying it with a much more dramatic, every game going to third-party. My comment was only to keep it in their own ecosystem back in the day, and people were like, Mooch, you don't know what you're saying. I'm telling you, you have to give a reason for the console to live. Now, I'll go to the great Jay Bari. Jay, you heard what everyone has to say here, Jay, and welcome to the show, buddy, by the way. Great to have you here. Jay, what do you think when you hear this? Tim is saying that he's reading the way that the Forza announcement is that there may be a glimmer of hope where there is still a 3 to 6 month window where Xbox gets the exclusive on their console first and then it goes third party, or is this just a case of the devs needing more time? I think the next release, whether it be Gears E-Day, Fable, or it be the next announcement, that's when we'll see if that goes day and date. Then we'll know that this isn't happening. Or if it waits again, maybe Tim may have something. What do you think, Jay?
No, this is why. Can you hear me loud and clear?
You sound good, Jay.
Yeah.
All right, because my PC been just acting up. But this is why I respect Tim Dog and D Batch. You know what I mean? They speak from the heart, man. You know what I mean? They put their heart on the sleeve.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Me personally, I would even go a step above what Tim Dog and D Batch said.
Okay.
Don't release them games on PlayStation at all. What happened to great competition? What happened to great competition?
That's right.
What happened to giving an incentive for people to buy your console?
That's right.
You know what I mean? This mixed messaging all over the place with what Xbox doing is just further more confusion. You got some games going, then you got this game not going. Then they say, "Oh, this game got to wait a couple of months." And, it's just weird. That's don't release it on PlayStation at all. Make PlayStation and Xbox compete. Make them go after the consumer dollars so they can both, put their best foot forward as far as, hey, you should play on this platform. This is the reason why. Hey, you should play on this platform. This is the reason why. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I agree. I 100% agree.
I agree too, but I just think it's too late. It's too late.
Well, and they don't say anything.
You get us, you have a side piece, right? And once you get a taste of that side piece, it's hard to give up that side piece.
Yeah, they're seeing that money.
They have to make themselves clear. It's like Jay Bari said. I 100% agree. When you create a sense of confusion and you have something as good as PlayStation, and PlayStation's good, and it's going to be really good next year when it has that game Saros. I know you guys are going to talk about it. Fucking impressive. And everyone's just going to say, okay, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm not dealing with that.
Right.
So they have to talk. They have to be clear. They can't be. See, they're always like afraid to talk, and the problem is that they need to talk. Phil used to say to me all the time, you have to gain trust from the gamer. You have to gain that trust, and that's what we're doing.
100%.
They don't have trust right now.
I agree. I agree 100% because, like, not to sound rude or anything like that, but, people just take everything to console wars or whatnot. But like Xbox has made themselves out of the conversation that's even in casual gaming talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the things that they are doing, how they're executing, people are not caring about the Xbox console itself. You have like high Xbox fans that love Xbox. These people are transitioning into PC gaming. They're not even playing on the console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why is because the steps and the things that Xbox is doing. there's a huge incentive to play their games on PC rather than on the console. And I have that gripe with PlayStation as well. Even though PlayStation a little bit different because them games is coming a little bit later and it take a little bit longer. But eventually, wherever they go, I always tell people I have a gripe with that. How these consoles are being less incentivized for gamers going.
Yes,
you know what I mean. But that's just my thought. I'm an old school dinosaur.
You know what? And a guy that was right on. Sean Layden was right up your alley, man. He was the guy that at PlayStation had your ideals. He didn't want to do this. He had a guy like Jim Ryan saying, this guy, the games cost so much, we're not making money. We need to make gas. We need to make this. We got to do this. We got to do that. And we got to explore this. You know what I always say? When you complicate simple things, it always gets screwed up. This PlayStation, and I think they're getting back to that. You know it works and you got it working. To get the games that they've put out there, and like Saros is an example of that. That's going to be another 90 plus game in my opinion. It looks fantastic.
It does.
And Wolverine still needs to be polished, another blockbuster. But you just get what works for you. Why stray? When you stray and you cause like this issue, it becomes a major problem. And that's what I think Sony, like what Jim got involved. When Sean was involved, when Sean was the CEO, he had the right idea, but he was pushed out because, he made the comment about 20 hours, pack a 20-hour game. Because the reason why he made that is because the industry has been so expensive and we were paying so little that it wasn't adding up. And the shareholders and all the people, the bean counters were saying, hey, you're making Spider-Man, it's selling this much, but we're only making this much. But the reality is that their philosophy of single player exclusives is works. Exclusives matter. The whole thing that these exclusives are going away, that's crazy talk. Exclusivity always matters. Look at anything that you do. VIPs, why do they have VIPs in a bar? I mean, this is just an analogy, but why do they have it? People want to feel like I have something that you don't.
They want to feel going away. Welcome, special, a reason for being there. And, so Tim, let me go to Brap. Brap, we've been saying, Tim just literally reiterated, Brap, but we say that this talk only happens in the gaming community. There's nothing like this in other areas, right? You can't get McDonald's fries and a Burger King Whopper at the same place. There's a reason for that, and there's a reason that they have their favorites, and there's a reason that they hold their customers. Brap, that's the one thing. The one thing I'll just add a sprinkle here real quick, then I want to hear what you have to think is another caveat that we're not thinking about. This is a little bit of, I would say, hopium in a sense, because it's like, I hope they do. Jay Barr even said, I hope there's competition again. But we just saw an Xbox showcase, not the Tokyo game show, but the one over the summer. Every single thing they showed, I think there was one or two games that didn't. But almost everything that they're publishing, everything that they're doing had a PlayStation 5 logo on it. And a lot of them still did at the Xbox Tokyo game show as well. So, Brap, is this something that you see? You've seen everything that's been going on in the past 48 hours. Do you think that this is something with Forza Horizon's delay is something they're experimenting again? And I think part of this is Tim saying we need this, right? We need this. But is it a little too late, like D-Batch was saying?
That's a great question. Tim's point real quick, I just kind of want to double down because something that I've been discussing, beating the drum for weeks now on Brap, which goes live every Wednesday night.
Great plug, Brap. Great plug.
I'll go on that too.
Yeah, we had... What's that, Tim Dog?
He said, I'll buy on your show too. I'm going on.
Yeah, Tim, we got to get you back on. It's been too long. No, but to Tim's point with exclusivity, I don't understand the talk around exclusivity or anti-exclusives or they don't matter. Tim's right; they do matter. There is an emotional, and you could Google this stuff. They are studies, psychologists that have studied consumer behavior and how exclusives drive, brand identity or look, clearly they make people feel a certain way. Hence the console wars, right? but no, they make people feel like they're getting ROI for the investment in the ecosystem or the $500 that they purchased on a console, or they make it feel like, oh, that sense of having something that someone doesn't have. So I mean, those are real things that Tim mentioned. But the Forza thing's kind of interesting. It seems like now they're maybe pivoting a little bit again. And I heard you guys talking about consistency, and this is a game that has live service elements. And if there was any game that would release day and date, like from Microsoft's tentpole, I would have imagined it would have been Forza 6. Especially considering the success that Forza Horizon 5, I said Forza 6, I meant Forza Horizon 6, but considering the success Forza Horizon 5 has had on the PlayStation, I mean, it was charting NPD. It's doing very well. So I'm a little surprised by that move to not have it day and date. Again, live service elements. It's a kind of game that makes sense, but then now I'm wondering if Microsoft is taking a step back and saying, well, maybe our tentpoles don't go day and date because we still need to prop up that value proposition with Game Pass. But I still think even if you release the games day and date, that value proposition is still there for Game Pass. Says, hey, you can either pay $70 on PlayStation or you can come experience it on Game Pass for whatever. I forget how much Game Pass is a year now, but so it's kind of interesting. I think I agree with Tim about the consistency piece. They really need to be consistent in their messaging. That's one thing that you have to. If you look at Nintendo and PlayStation, they have been pretty consistent, and not that they haven't made mistakes. I know somebody's been like, "Well, Jim Ryan did this,"
Concord.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I mean, the live service thing with PlayStation is kind of interesting. I mean, so they release 2 live service games. They're batting 500 right now.
Right.
That's not a bad average, Mooch. I think the Mets would like a batting average of 500.
Yes, the Mets would love a coach like that. Yes.
That's never happening. They're losing.
But no, I mean, and then they own Bungie, and look, I'm not saying that Marathon's going to be a banger for Bungie, and I don't even think that internally, in my opinion, I don't think that they probably look at that as a game that's going to be a banger per se. But look, they have Destiny, right? So they're getting that revenue off that game. So, but I don't disagree with Tim. Like they should focus on what they're known for, and I think they've kind of pivoted back or taken a step back. I do think they're going to do live service. I think they will because they're trying to create this ecosystem. It makes sense to have live service exclusives because it allows you to monetize outside of the ecosystem. So you could put those games on Xbox, PC, day and date, and you have reoccurring revenue that's going to feed the rest of your studios, right? Because studios aren't 100% funded by the games that they sell at retail. First party studios, they're funded by the amount of revenue that the entire ecosystem is generating, and then Sony's allocating how much money they can get to create games and things like that. So I don't think they're going to get away from that. I do think, though, I think to Tim's point, that they've kind of taken a step back and said, wait a minute, like maybe we need to still focus, because I do think there's some waste of resources and time having some of your first party studios working on like Bluepoint and the folks behind Days Gone. I forget Sony Ben Studios, like working on live service. Like why would you do that? And then those games being canceled. Naughty Dog, right? Even though Naughty Dog's releasing Intergalactic, but how much did working on a live service game take away from Naughty Dog? They could have maybe working on something else.
So I think, Brad, the only thing I would chime in here, and again, I'll pose the question to Death Singer so he can get his take in here, because you all are leaving great volleyballs up there to be spiked down. Is if what Tim's saying and Brap's saying, and there is that discussion happening, I would expect to see a few other things. I would expect to see a drop in price on Xbox consoles right now, because I would want to get more people in towards the end of this as they ramp up for a new generation, right? And the price went up. So, and then I would like to see, and I want to trip over Xboxes in stores. They're not in stores. Everything that we're saying, yes, I can. I'm actually following. Go ahead, Tim.
And then we'll get Death, because he's always been such a.
He is. That's great.
Wait, real quick before Tim chimes in, I do want to say something that's very important. Because I think I heard Tim mention this earlier about the increased costs of gaming, And I don't totally disagree with Tim. I think because the market,
I think he makes a point with the market, actually.
Well, go ahead, bro. But think about it. The market is it's such a stratified market now, right? Like when we all grew up playing in the 80s, there were very limited entry points into gaming, right?
Yep. That's right.
The market's so stratified now with different consumers, or consumers that want different types of experiences, or consumers that have different different wants, different needs. They have different price appetites, and the gaming industry, I think, is doing a really good job at catering to those different demographics. So I don't totally disagree with Tim. I think that, like, hey, look, like, if you want the high end experience, you're probably gonna have to pay for that. I mean, Sean Layden talked about that. Like, the one thing that hurt AAA development was that the retail price pretty much stayed static. And Sean said that, like, it's like if you talked about raising the price of games, like, people flipped out. But the cost of development never went down, but the price remained pretty static. You can't run a business like that. So I think, like, they're going to say, look, like, if you want the high end experience, like we see at other consumer markets, luxury markets, like, you're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to pay you want some Ferragamo's, you have to pay $1,000. If you don't want the Ferragamo's, you got to pay less. I mean, that's the market. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I agree with Tim there.
Go ahead, Tim.
So thank you. So my question to you, Mooch, and your counterpoint is this. We agree that the console has went up and that it really doesn't matter. So what's their slant of releasing it early? Now, if they truly, and this goes to Mike's point, if you're a third party, you just delay the game. You could delay it to 2027 and have it as a launch window exclusive.
Right.
This is why I think this conversation's going on, because they can do whatever they want with Forza Horizon 6, all right? And they know it's selling on PlayStation. So that right there says, okay, we're going to release it on PlayStation 5. They already said that. They committed to that. But why are they doing this? Like, what is the reason why they're doing it? Is it to sell consoles? They don't care about this next generation, this console anymore. Obviously, they're taking it off of Costco. They don't care.
Yeah, but
you can't find it.
What about what Phil said though, Tim? With the remember when he came on to that one show, the XCast, I think it was, and he said something like, "We lost last generation. It was the worst generation to lose." They're worse than they were last generation.
Way worse. Way worse.
So how by taking a game like Forza, right? And I'll answer your question because you asked a great question. How by making Forza and Fable, right, a 3-month delay, does that all of a sudden, after they've already released their big Starfield games and they've had these other and Indiana Jones, nothing else is moving the needle, but now Fable, a game that hasn't really been released in a very long time. I know you have the diehard Xbox fans that say, I can't wait for that, but that's not a household name these days anymore with the younger generation, right? Forza is. So to answer your question, back to your question, why would they do this? The reason they would launch it is, A, PC sales, right? They're going to make a ton of money on PC with this game, and they saw that Forza Horizon 5 sold very well years after it launched on Xbox on PS5. So 3 months, they're like, just get it out there. They need to make money on these investments. So they want to just get it out there, make money on PC, make money on Xbox, get a couple more Game Pass subs, nothing big, but they'll get more subs. There'll be an uptick there, okay? And then 3 months later, it'll sell like gangbusters on PS5. So it's no harm, no foul, really, for them to launch it 3 to 6 months early, as is. That's my counter. I'm not saying I'm right, but it's a counter.
I just want to finally give you a counter to that.
Yeah.
If that's true, what all of you said, then why are they even bothering with a new console? Like, why? Like, what?
Great question.
And why are they going to do something where they're just adding more confusion? Because they already know their messaging sucks.
Right.
They know that they have to do it. So why would you throw this in the fucking mix?
The only thing I can think of, Tim, is that we don't know. We still don't know if they're making a dedicated console. We know they're going to have another console, but is it going to be made by Hewlett Packard? You know, we don't know who's making it.
They're going to have an OEM. This is
OEM.
They're going to have an OEM third party.
And theirs. OEMs is coming out next year.
They're having
theirs is coming afterwards.
So that's my point. Is like they have to. Listen? In my opinion, if they want things to work, they got to come out tomorrow. Phil has to talk to us. Have a heart-to-heart.
Yeah.
They never had that heart-to-heart with their fans. That's what they're avoiding. They're trying to act like it doesn't exist.
But Tim,
and that's the problem here. They're not basing themselves in reality.
Tim, do you think if they have that heart-to-heart, though, the fans will just be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. F this, I'm out. Because I feel like that, because we saw some of that, right? We saw some of that.
They're already in that. They're at that position. They have to do the Hail Mary. That's the Hail Mary. Listen,
they got to start Jackson
If you
Dart.
come in good faith and you say, this is our plan, this is what we're doing, give us a chance, this is your value proposition, let know what you have to say. We're good. We're the best. When you start saying things like, oh, well, go play a PlayStation. Okay, I'm going to go play. I'm not dealing with mixed messaging stuff that you can't even get past. They can't get past this point. Why is anybody going to pay? Listen, the people that pay attention, like Mike and everyone, Sean, everyone's like, what are they doing? Like, what is going on? Like, when you're confusing industry executives and former executives like Mike Ybarra and like everyone's like, what are they doing? Like, are they going to do this? Are they shit or get off the pole? Sorry for the bad language, but like they have to nip this. It's already been, it's far gone. But you know what? If you want to start a starting point, let's start it tomorrow. Let's talk to the fans. Let's say, let's give a heartfelt message and say, you know what? We're going to be back.
So
get
and
people
Tim,
excited.
Tim, we should do a one-on-one podcast because I like how we're going back and forth. My counter to that is they did a show today. If that was the intent, the heart-to-heart had to happen now.
They added. Listen, people are dying for Xbox to be a part of the conversation. Even Jay Barry's
I agree.
Like, I'm a PlayStation fan hardcore. I don't want your exclusives. Give us people they want competition. They want to see it. As much as people said console wars are so toxic and all, people loved it.
Oh, Tim,
including Phil. I got news for you, including Phil.
Exactly. Listen, I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to say the executives, the media, and YouTube, everyone loved the console wars. They're like, you guys should stop this console war. Everyone loves it. Everyone missed it. And they all chimed in on it.
And now it's boring.
Right. Now, Digital Foundry, if they're showing a shadow on a different version of a game, no one cares.
Everybody says that console wars is boring and toxic. But they always turn everything into console wars.
That's
right. You can post anything in the world, and they're going to try to force it or make content about it.
And it's so funny to me. The guys that say, "Oh, the console war is done. Oh, no more console warring. Oh, I can't stand console warring." And the second tweet is a console war.
It's a console war tweet. Yes.
Listen, console wars is good for the industry, and I'll tell you why it's good for the industry. It's good for the fans. It gives them excitement, gives them camaraderie, gives them shit to talk about. It's good for the executives. It's good for the companies because it drives them to do better. Just like you have sports teams. You think if we didn't have sports teams, like my Nets are better than your Cubs or whatever, right? Everybody competes, and the draft becomes more interesting. You want to see what players they're going to get next year. Yeah. Are they going to become a dynasty? And it's no different with consoles or anything that you like. You like the Apple phone. You want it to succeed over the Samsung. You got the Samsung phone. You want it to succeed over the Apple phone. You got a fucking Chrysler. You want it to, succeed over a Ford or whatever. This is healthy for competition. This is healthy for companies, for individuals to be innovating. So people that say, "Oh, the console wars is toxic," like, get the hell out of here. Then you better not ever root for your favorite team, your favorite sports player, your favorite model, your favorite car. Like, what are we doing here? Console wars is good. It gets toxic when people are saying, "Yeah, I'm going to come to your house," and stuff like that.
I was going to say that, D-Batch. It can get toxic. We've seen that.
You got those idiots in every walk of life. You go to a baseball game, you're wearing the wrong jersey, you got some idiot that wants to pour beer on you. Come on.
Right. He's right.
It's just the truth. And I just want to make this final point is that what we talked about and how exciting this podcast has been is because there's just a glimmer of hope that Xbox might actually get their asses in shape and say, you know what, we're going to fight. People don't want to see people sit down and get their asses beat. It's boring.
Yeah.
That includes everyone that said that they didn't want a console war. People are dying. People are saying things like, exclusivity is going away. Like, they're making things up. Like, bro, Get back to the basics. Get competition going. I mean,
what,
Jay Barry of all people is saying, listen. I realize Sony won, but let's get some competition.
Hey Tim, look. You know why you and D-Batch is correct? Because check this out. I thought this was the funniest thing I saw earlier today, right? So Microsoft, they did a whole TGS show. Majority of stuff is all the stuff they already know, but it's letting you know that it's coming to Xbox.
Right.
And they ended it off with Forza Horizon 6 coming, to Xbox, PC, and all that stuff. And then they delayed it, saying in the article saying that it's coming later to PlayStation 5 at a later date. That is the point that got people excited, not the fact that a new Forza game got announced and it's in Japan. I'm seeing people that said that console wars is dead. I'm seeing that exclusives are dead. Those people are getting excited that Microsoft is dropping the game on Xbox consoles first. And I'm just like, whoa, what are we? I thought console wars is dead and exclusives are dead.
That's right.
This is the thing that grinds my gears with Xbox fans. Now, I've been with Xbox from day one, from like the first Xbox, the first Xbox Live. I've always been a Windows guy. I've always played on PC. So I've always supported the company. And what I don't like about the current state of some of the Xbox fans is that Xbox can never do no wrong. Like, they will never admit the obvious. And then a lot of these people that, guide a lot of the Xbox fans, they're not truthful with them and they just gaslight them. And Tim was knee deep into Microsoft, okay? Like, he's talking to executives. He's talking to the top guy up there, okay? And he had a problem with it. I had a problem with a lot of the things that they were doing. It wasn't because, today is the day to be cool and hate on Microsoft and hate on Xbox, the company that I've poured thousands of dollars in time and tweets invested into. I'm just going to, at the drop of the dime, just going to go against them for no reason. It's because I can speak for myself, and I can assume Tim as well, because we wanted them to be all that they could be. Mm-hmm. And at the point where they got all of these damn studios and they could really do some damage, but they would have to, pull their pants up and, do the work and fight hard and not just cave in. Over time, I'm telling you, it would have been a much more competitive landscape, because there would have been games that are just on Xbox. And gamers are fickle. They'd be like, crap, I want to play that game. And you would have people starting to go over to the other side, going over to the other side. I'm not saying everybody, but you'd have some people buying an Xbox as a secondary console, whatever. It would be a lot more competitive. And when they put all of their games on PlayStation, it just eroded at all the investment, all of the time. The moment that we waited for it, they did it. And then what do they do at that moment? They give all of their games up and put them on everything. And now we're seeing the results of this. Xbox, you can't even find it in Costco Canada. Like, I looked at Costco Canada, it's not available here either. Ridiculous. So their console is shrinking up where you can get it. So they're going to put their games on PlayStation. But I agree with the panel, or the sentiment of most of the panel members, that Microsoft needs to have this heart-to-heart, real talk with Xbox gamers, and just let them know what's going on. Yeah. Finally, once and for all, instead of playing this cloak and whatever.
Have another business meeting, D-Batch.
It's just getting ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
You guys want to have some breaking news?
Yeah, I saw it too, Tim. But go ahead, you can announce it.
Well, you announce it. You're the host.
Well, so the Xbox Ally X is $999.
Yeah, $1,000, man. I posted that earlier. $1,000 freaking dollars.
So yeah, just to look at the numbers here, you've got the Ally is coming out at $599.99. Just to put everything out there for the audience, and the Ally X is $1,000, $99.99. Wow, unbelievable! $999.99.
That's the price of a 5080. That's a price of an RTX.
This is the thing. The messaging and what's going on. I'm just doing the math here, and I got the numbers don't add up. They don't add up, because what you guys are saying is right, but between Xbox at Tokyo Game Show and that singer, let me let you chime in here, because we didn't really get a chance to hear your take before the show or on the show. That singer, what do you've heard? I mean, Tim, I'm not even disagreeing. I think Tim's plan is correct. I'm only questioning, will Xbox do Tim's plan? That's what I'm questioning.
I question that too.
To
be honest.
So what do you
I'm
think,
just
that
trying
singer?
to brush
No,
some air into him.
Tim, I don't. I hopefully you can give them CPR. I'm hoping you can. That's
listen. If they're listening, the real thing to do to give them a chance is to do a 6-month window. I don't care because I can still play my games on PC and play most of my Xbox games on PC anyways. So do a 6-month window and release those games on PlayStation 6 months. And I think it's a win-win.
Detsinger, I'm going to go to you with this question because it really pertains to you. But D and Tim, you both know this. And if I'm wrong, please call me out. Okay? But they've already aligned a lot of the hardcore is the money that you can count on. A lot of the people that I know on Xbox, when I turn the Xbox on and I look at the logo next to them, it shows PC, 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 PC. They've already moved the hardcore guys that I've known in the community for 10 years to PC. Detsinger being one of them a long time ago. Detsinger, you were on Xbox, you went to PC, you haven't gone back. So the question I have for you, Detsinger, is what do you think about Tim's plan? And Tim, I'm just giving Tim credit because Tim was out there fighting the good fight the minute that this was announced today. So Tim gets credit for that. Detsinger, what do you think about what Tim's idea is, and what do you think about the situation at hand? Can they go back and pivot?
I think they can. I think Tim's plan is sound when you think about it, because even if you put like a 6-month delay on the games, you still have some value there, because at the rate games are churning out right now, like I'm having there's like 3 or 4 games or 2 or 3 every month. It's impossible to play all these games. So even you release it day one, you've now got value. And then for the PlayStation guy, you've got games to play anyway. So you're probably not missing out unless you want to play it day one, of course. But at that point, you may as well get yourself a PC. But also, as I said, and I said this on Lucas' show, shout out to Scumcast, I think next generation, then these consoles aren't going to be in the store. What you'll do, you'll buy them directly from Microsoft, and they'll be at full price. They won't take a loss on the console. You'll be paying full price for them. And they will just sell that to who they can get, their core 40 mil or whatever they have, and just have them constantly on the ticker, because the reality is you're not going to get all 40 million of them over onto PC, because some people just don't want to deal with PC, right? They just want a box under their TV. So you're never going to capture them all. So I think that doing the 6 months, I think the 6 months is correct. If you do 6 months on your big games, then you still get value, even if you're on Xbox, because you're getting them day one. But then you're also making money off the back end, because PlayStation or the gamers already showed you they're willing to buy your games. Look at Forza Horizon, right? Oh, that's game, 4 years or whatever? Sold fantastic. So people are willing to wait and pay out, so you get the best of both worlds. And I think that's what they should do going forwards, is have your cake and eat it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I think Tim Dog's plan is really, really sound.
Yeah. Yeah, they open up Pandora's box. But also, I want to take it a step further. I think that Sony should take the same approach, but not put their games on Xbox. Put their games 6 months later on PC. Because the PC crowd and the PlayStation crowd, they're still fragmented. There's still 2 different groups. And I think they could take advantage of those games going to PC 6 months later, because 6 months after a game comes out on PlayStation, it's pretty much plateaued, right? And I think at that time you could put it on PC while it's still hot for those people that wanted to play it. I think Sony putting their games like on PC 1.5 years, 2 years, it's too long. And I think in the beginning, people were just excited to play these games, but like now they don't care as much. Whereas if you release it closer to when it comes out, like a 6-month window, there'll still be excitement about it, still people talking about it, and the PC guys would get it too. I think that would be a win-win for both companies, and I think both companies could thrive more and earn more revenue with that method. But I don't know if they're going to take that step to do it, because you got to make the step, commit to it, and just do it, and just deal with everything that comes with it.
Hot take D-Batch. They don't need PC at all. Eliminate them. Take them out. Pack them up.
Hot take. Yo, Jay, thanks for throwing that out there, Jay.
It is small. It is small and minuscule in overall totality of their revenue. It is not needed. It is not a highlight. I can understand the live server stuff. I can understand that.
Yeah,
I mean the live server, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, you need players to make the game survive. That just makes sense.
The reason why I can't jump fully on that train that D-Batch is saying is because I'm yet to see any benefit from them going to PC, putting their games on PC here on the PlayStation console.
More money.
It's more money. It's more money, but I'm not seeing more stuff.
It's not losing them any PlayStation money, and it's making them more money. So that's inevitable too. That's a thing that PlayStation guys got to deal with.
You've been saying that for a while now, so I don't blame you saying it out loud again. But to be honest with you, right now the old expression always works, and I wish Xbox listened to it. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and that's what Sean Layden was saying.
And if it's working for right now for PlayStation to do 12 to 18 months between releases, and they can squeeze everything out of that PlayStation before they move it over. It doesn't seem to be hurting them, and they're making their money on their lives.
It's not hurting them. No, it's not hurting them.
They made money on the Helldivers.
I think they would just make more revenue, but it's not hurting them.
But the thing is that you make your point, and then I want to make a point about about exclusivity and why I agree with Jay.
No, go ahead. Let's go.
I just feel like when you talk about exclusivity, you say, well, it's just free money. But the thing is that when you talk about exclusivity and you talk about it at its core, you can look at Nintendo. They have a system where they don't put their games anywhere, and it sure seems to be working. They sell their games like nobody else. But when you say, oh, well, there's free money, or when people say that, the thing is that you could say that on that level, but if you look a little deeper, you also have that proposition and the value of what it means to really have something that is nowhere else. And that itself is what Sony got Sony on its feet when it was going through its rough time in 2012. The Last of Us was a big thing that really shot them up. And you take a game like Spider-Man. That didn't do that well on PlayStation, on PC, but it sold $4 million. So my thing is that it is something where you're gonna make money if you put a little money into it, but you also have to weigh all the options, and that means the proposition value. People like it, like Jay does, and a lot of his people. If you listen to his podcast, PlayStation Nation, when I've listened to it many times. All those guys are hardcore. We don't want no games on PlayStation, PC, and the reason is because again, it's that thing about where I have something where other guys want it. I'm exclusive. Yeah. I'm in that VIP area. You're not. You know what? I'm special. The bottom line, there is that psyche that goes on in everyone's head,
and and
you're right. You're totally right, because I've always owned a PlayStation. Because I needed to own a PlayStation, because it just had some titles that you couldn't get anywhere else.
The thing is,
so I understand it.
The thing is, and I'm not going to go in reverse order here, but Brian just said something in the super chat. Guys, I'm getting to the super chats and I'm going to read them all. We're not changing subjects. I'm going to go through them all because you all have a lot of comments on this topic. But Brian, he says, if I know Ghost of Yotei is dropping on PC next April, I'd happily wait for it and skip buying it on PS5. So my question for you, D, is when you say it brings in more money, so it brings it, just picture, just a chart column, right? So now the PC chart column goes up, but now your PS5 column drops. They are doing enough analytics to figure out, is that enough up in the PC column that when I drop my PlayStation, don't forget PlayStation, right? They're getting PS Plus money. Then they're getting you to buy the headphones for that. They're getting you to buy the controllers for that. They're getting you to buy this. They're getting you to buy that. All these things that when you go to PC, you may be keyboard and mouse, and you're going to use third-party this and third-party that. And guess what? You're not going to be spending money with Sony. Is that drop enough to equal out the more? I don't. I think they're doing the math. I don't think they see it.
And you know what? I agree with you to a degree. The PC head in me,
I know where you're coming from, Dave.
PC. But I will say this though: when they make a system that has comparable graphics and it's giving me good performance, then that's less of an issue for me. So that's the reason why I went out and actually got a PS5 Pro, because I was kind of the PlayStation 5, it just wasn't doing it for me anymore on certain games. So I'd buy them because I just buy everything.
Right.
And then I would end up not playing it and just wait for the PC version and then clear it on PC. And the PlayStation 5 Pro afforded me a way of having to double dip. I can play it on the PlayStation 5 Pro and feel satisfied that I'm not missing anything. I got ray tracing. I got 60 FPS. I got high fidelity. I got greater image quality with the machine learning AI on it. So I'm not double dipping anymore on the PC side of things. And I'll even go further, just trying to look into the future. Everything that I know and what I've heard and what's coming from PlayStation and their collaboration with AMD and Amethyst, that PlayStation 6 is going to be something special. And if there's one thing I know about Sony, and that's why I've owned all of their consoles, is that they prioritize graphics.
Yeah.
And I think the next generation is going to also prioritize performance as well with what they're going to have in there. But I know that PlayStation 6 is going to have gorgeous graphics. And if that's the only place that I can play that game, and it's got gorgeous graphics, you know what? I have to agree with you guys. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get that PlayStation 6.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to play that game day one.
100.
As you should, D. Now, listen, guys, I have the great Red Hood has joined us. I've been trying to get Red on the show for a year and a half, so to have Red here is fantastic. Red, great to have you, as well as the great Wooly Gamer has joined us. Although I will say I am legitimately very far behind on a couple. Let me just read a few super chats. And then Red and Wooly, I know you've been paying attention, too, through the chat. I want to get your take on this before we move on, but just a couple great shout-outs here. Shout out to the great Danelle Brown. Danelle, thank you so much. He says, because I appreciate you podcasting and keeping me entertained. Naughty Dog or Wolverine on me, which one? I'm a Wolverine guy, but Danelle, you just being here makes me happy, buddy, and we always talk in the DMs anyways and on PlayStation as well. The great Danelle Brown, everybody. The Gaming Ledger says PlayStation's cut other consoles' revenue from their deck at Nixus expands into co-dev like Saros. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Strategy shift. So I'm just trying to get that back there. Gaming Ledger says PlayStation cut other consoles' revenue from their deck as Nexus expands into co-dev. Are you guys following that one from Ledger? Is he saying they're going to they're divvying up their teams?
What's happening is they're simultaneously developing for console and PC. That's why you're going to have Nixus and you have all these support studios. So when they have the PC version, whenever they're ready to announce it, it's going to be ready to go. Hopefully, it's not going to have any issues.
I don't see it happening that fast. I know Nixus is phenomenal, but to do that with all their titles would be hard for one company. Go ahead.
What window do you guys see? Because realistically, I think we're going to start to see a 1 year window of the PlayStation games and going to PC.
That's what it is. That's
what it is now. That's what it is.
Spider-Man 2's like that.
Red Hood, you're using a voice. That's all right, buddy.
My bad.
I thought I heard that when you started. I'm like, no, Red's not doing that. Shout out to Red Hood, everybody. Red, what do you think? What were you saying, Red, before the Darth Vader thing came out?
I thought Spider-Man, if I remember correctly, came out this year in 2025, right? For January. So that game came out in like October of 2023. So
are you talking Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, for PC. That was like about a year
and a half.
Year, a little over a year, right? 12 to 15 months, somewhere in there. I think we're at that. Like Jay Barry said, if you guys want to round down and say 12 months, that's fine. I always say when I'm speaking quickly on the show, 12 to 18 months, because there is a flux there, right? Of the 12, 15, 8. Some of them are longer. Maybe they're also doing a market analysis to see which ones they want to put out there faster, right? That they know, like D-Back says, get it while it's hot. Right? Get that money while it's hot. So if there's another game that's smaller, they're like, well, put that one. That one can go 15 months, 18 months. I don't care. But get this one out the door in a year.
And the only game I'm shocked that hasn't come that I know would sell a lot is Demon Souls. Because From Software games sell like crazy on PC, Elden Ring and all that. So I'm kind of shocked that hasn't made its way.
And I know Sony's kind of petty too. And everything we're hearing about the next Xbox is it's going to have Steam integration. It's possible that they could slow down those releases as well.
Yeah, but see, when it comes to the Steam integration thing, I still never understand that because
it's a PC. It's just a PC.
Yeah, because you're moving your people to a different ecosystem. Because I know Valve is not going to give them a percentage of any sales whatsoever when it comes to Steam.
You're promoting a detractor. It makes no
Microsoft
sense.
is going to try their best to detract and
you know what
consumers.
I haven't talked to Tim in a while about this stuff, Tim, I want to know what you think about that. I want to know what you think about the Steam integration. If it's a good idea, how is it even possible? Because they're not making any money and they're going to kind of cannibalize their own core audience to Steam because games are cheaper there.
Well, I remember Phil telling me one of our last conversation was that the next console, the selling point is going to be innovation. So I do think they are trying to get a unified storefront. I mean, personally, I don't know. I think it could work, but I do think that you kind of have to, target, the console market. I think they're really in a lot of trouble, to be honest, as we know. And that's why when we talk about this possible new strategic pivot, is something of a Hail Mary. And I mean, this is like, I've said how many Hail Marys now. So this is like,
right.
I mean, I don't know.
Doug Flutie Hail Mary.
Yes.
Listen, at this point, it's a wait and see. I don't think it's going to catch on. I mean, I think that I've seen a little bit of traction in TikTok because I do a lot. I do watch a lot of TikTok, and I noticed that the TikTok saying, "Oh yeah, they're the idea of it has potential," but I just think in the real world, especially if they're going up against Sony, I think Sony's a real cog in this because I just think that people are just going to eventually just choose the easier option, which is PlayStation 6, or if they really want a PC, they'll just get a PC because you can get everything on Xbox. So I really don't know if that slant is going to really be a big selling point. I think that the only thing that they could really sell is possibly a really good console. And you have that Game Pass proposition because PC Game Pass, while it's doing okay, it's not going to ever get the traction that the console market has gotten and has. What do you just want to say, 30 million or whatever, 28 million, whatever their numbers. They won't talk about their numbers, but there's a big chunk of it. So I do think that you still have to kind of go after that or sometimes get a unified market. But again, it's like what I keep going back to about the messaging and about. Again, this is so it's so, up in the air. There's so many ways to go around it. There's just confusion around it. When I always say this, people, especially when you talk about games, they kind of want simplicity in a way. When you make it really complex and then you have competition that's out there, and then you have even Steam on top of that. It could just be like a Trojan horse for Steam, where it's just going to sell Steam more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not really. I don't really. I think their last viable chance to really have hardware and have it staying around is they have to get the cloud first right, and they are supposedly working on that. That's not the main thing. That's the last thing, but they have to get that right. But they have to make this proposition of Game Pass, console, power, and everything that you can pretty much add, and then Steam could be an add. They got to also get the controller right. One of the things that when I got into the PlayStation that I really appreciate about Sony is they nailed it with that controller, man.
The controller. Did you ever
everything on Pro?
Tim, I never thought on the airwaves, and I've been saying it since almost 2020. Maybe it took me till 2021. I have to say the DualSense is my favorite controller, and it was the Xbox controller since the 360 until now. The PS5 DualSense took over.
Can y'all repeat that? The
DualSense is the best controller.
The screen recorders can capture that. That's
I mean, and there's a big gap because I had went back and played Xbox a little bit. I played some, and I just there's just no compare. It's a crazy difference, and that hurt them too. So they gotta get that controller right. They gotta get some type of. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to but they gotta get it. They gotta basically kind of copy. So they gotta get it close to the DualSense because that's a big thing too. So yeah, there's a lot of hurdles for Xbox. The reality, I mean, the realist in me, and I've said this, they're just it's just a matter of time before they're just gonna shut down the hardware and be like EA and just and I don't really think Game Pass alone is something that can really survive the way it's been surviving. They're going to have to make major changes there. They're going to do the changing of the studios, and they're going to have to slim it down. They're going to, there's still major hurdles, but
if they can get the console where it's popular selling and they get certain things right and they get a good value proposition, they can maybe work themselves way a little up here and get a positive momentum. You got to realize they haven't had positive momentum. You're talking about 12, 13 years. I mean, this is taking a major,
long time. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if the pivot. I don't know if the pivot can exist at this point. Go ahead.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so my take is that the next generation console, that's it. If that fails, that's it. They're done. They're not coming back.
Well, yeah, 100.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
now,
I mean, that's
now I want to ask you. Now, if that happens, what happens to Game Pass? Because I think if the console dies, Game Pass dies. Because they're not going to put Game Pass on PC and PlayStation. They're going to break up those games individually and just multi-plat.
I think them getting rid of Game Pass, I thought that would be inevitable. The only thing that I think that they're going to hang on to, and Death Singer will kind of back me up on this, is the PC crowd would still utilize PC Game Pass like the way that Death Singer uses Ubisoft Plus or EA's version, right?
Play Pro.
Right. So Death Singer, go ahead and tell them how you kind of handle a lot of the Ubisoft games.
Thing is that these services are on console, EA Play Pro and Ubisoft Plus, right? But it's the most efficient way to play EA and Ubisoft games, right? Because you pay Ubisoft Plus for me is £16 a month, right? Now, if the next Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out, I could just sub for the 1 month, beat the game, and then unsub, and then do it.
Yeah.
And if you notice, these services have been around for years, but they never made their way over to console. They haven't come over to console for whatever reason. EA and Ubisoft decided not worth it. So I think you'd keep Game Pass on there because people will use these sub-services on PC.
Yeah, I think PC, you have an argument there. As we welcome also, shout out to Jez7780 who joined the show, as well as the great Willie Gamer. I do want to just say here, Babor Country, he says, Mooch. This is interesting too, because, this is something you got to wrap your mind around. We see a lot more about global money these days, okay? A lot more than we did 10, 15 years ago. But Babor says, and the show can start now, Babor's here. He says, Mooch, why are we still talking about Xbox? He says, only in America. He goes, like the NFL. It's irrelevant for the other 97% of humanity. Now, you think that that's just a console war thing, and that's fine. But Boris is a big PlayStation fan. But let me just say, when it comes to it, Xbox is pulled out of a lot of different countries, right? This has nothing to do with the Costco talk. This is Canada. Just, okay. Yeah, they're not available in a lot of different countries, or they have a very small footprint. So Babor is not necessarily wrong, even if this pivot.
Babor got to understand that Xbox is the Cowboys of gaming. You know what I mean? Cowboys ain't the best team in the world, but everybody keep talking about them every goddamn ESPN or sports show. Because
that's right. That's right. That's a great analogy, Jay. By the way, because every year the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl every single year. Trust me, as a Giants fan, I always pay attention to that, and they don't come close. All right, that being great analogy, Jay. Stanley Buffington says, Tim, your argument falls apart when Fable is on the PS5 day one.
Well, I agree. I think so. I agree with that person. I think you're really going to find out if this is real. But I mean, you just go by reaction today, how alive this podcast is, how I would say the people that contacted me in private messaging, people really want this. Like, people really want Xbox to be relevant, and it's really at a point where it's not. And I know that upsets people, but it's teetering on being relevant now. Yeah, Jay Barry's right. It is the Xbox, but it's been the Cowboys or whatever, but there will come a point where people will just even get bored of that, because they have to show some signs of life. You got to get some kind of momentum again. You got to get something that people can get behind. It has to be more. They got to be more interesting. When you're just, that's what the whole thing with the everything's an Xbox thing just drove me up the wall too. Like,
oh man,
they do things like that. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. That's never going to be, there's nothing that you can't do that thing. You're not going to change perception or reality. It's like, these are the smartest people supposedly in the world, and they just do things that are just, to me, like, you throw your hands up. So the reality is that they really kind of got to get something going. And in my opinion, this kind of like a spark. I can only speak for myself, and I can just see the way people have reacted. We all want kind of Xbox to be back in a way where they're kind of relevant. Because let's be honest, when they're not really worth talking about, that's really the end. Because then people just forget about it.
And you know, Tim, back in the day, we used to always say, what if Apple gets involved? What if Amazon got involved? What if Google gets involved? Here's the thing. Amazon did get involved. They failed. Google got involved. They failed. Apple, I think they see the writing on the wall. They're making plenty of money on Apple Arcade. They're happy right there, and that's the easiest money they're ever going to make. So you're right. When Xbox is not in it, it's really PlayStation doing these more mature games, right? Nintendo's got the younger market, plus they're getting some of the third party now with Switch 2, and they're probably going to continue to do that as they progress. The conversation has become a bit stagnant when it comes to that. Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
Just look, listen, and I know we all can agree. Just look at Madden, just look at NBA, or look at the games 2K. Remember when we had NFL?
Yeah.
When competition goes away, the quality is just suffers because you know what? There's nothing to be worried about. You know what? We could just do an update, and we could do the minimal work, and you know what? We could save money, and you know what? It's the only thing that's going to be available. So what? People are going to buy it. They'll buy it because there's not really that competition. You deal with Madden every year. It's like a roster update. You need to have competition to really push gaming to where it gets. And I have my own reservations about where gaming is right now. I kind of feel like everything's been done. They really need a kick in the rear end. Like you need to get some new stuff. You need to get risks being taken. You need to have much more mature themes. You need to have things change in gaming, in my opinion. I thought the cloud could do it, but that's not happening.
It's funny. We do all these podcasts, and executives, I don't know nowadays. I know back in the day, they'd listen. So many great ideas come from so many different podcasts and different ideas, gamers, people that do, even if it's just on Twitter, doing solo casts, different things that are out there in media. Nobody listening. Listen to what Tim's saying. Have that mature type of game out there. Have more of this type of game. Put this out there. Like, these are things that gamers have been saying over and over again for weeks on end on podcasts and shows and everything else you listen to. And I feel like they just have a deaf ear to it. It's kind of like the NFL in a sense. Well, is it though, Tim? Because I feel like it's every time somebody gets.
I think they're afraid to take a risk, Mooch, because the gaming costs so much money to make.
Does.
That if you go with something that turns out to be a total dud, you're talking about people getting fired. It's just a complete It's just like a huge hole. So they kind of like you go with what can work, and that's why you see the same type of games try over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
Or just different kind of like concepts, but not really anything new.
Nothing new.
But the point is that gaming's suffering already, and then when you throw out Microsoft and kind of that competition thing that gets people going and gets people motivated, then you can take another hit. So the old adage, competition's good, is very true. Listen, as much as I've been pissed off about Xbox and said nasty things about it and the way I was, my heart really wants them to do well. I
think everybody does, Tim. I really do.
As much as I was against Sony and all that stuff, I never wanted them to go out of business. I always wanted them to thrive, and I always said it was big enough for all the big three, and it still is in a way, because I do think console, despite all these people that were telling you that it was going away and it's so done, it's not.
They started again. They started again a couple of weeks ago. Like, I feel like the trends are going down. They're looking at the numbers that you have to remember with Xbox kind of bowing out a little bit this year, this generation. And the numbers are down, but they're not down for Nintendo. They're not down for PlayStation.
Watch next year. Just watch.
Yeah, next year those numbers are going to spike again. They're like, well, we were wrong. Yeah. I can't wait to see the update, the article update.
But to me, and this is why I don't come on a lot of podcasts, it's gotten boring. It's the same BS. It's like guys, creators just trying to, create things that aren't there, and they won't take accountability. Like, one thing about me, if I'm wrong, I'll say, yeah, I was wrong. I can be wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, I talked about Phil and how maybe I was wrong, and the things about how he stuck by me, and how I kind of like the time when he screwed up. I left him for dead, which I did. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but this nobody's perfect. But the bottom line is that you have people, the content creators. I hate to say it, and this is not you, but like, you gotta be consistent here. You gotta really, you can't be saying shit just to be getting views or to paint the picture that's really not there, because your favorite company is going Looney Tunes. You got to say, hey, they're doing stupid stuff.
Yeah,
journalism too.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun to have a what if moment, but you can't do a what if every single. That's what I'm saying. The what if this, what if there's too many what ifs out there. Realistically speaking, a lot of facts are in front of you nowadays. You look at what's going on. You can make your own opinion. I'm speaking to the chat and to people listening later. It's not about it's legitimately you look at your own and you make your own opinion on it. And that's why a great discussion on a good idea is always worth it. But to say this is going to happen and keep harping on it, yeah, I completely agree with you there. Shout out to the great Jay Bari, by the way, not only on the panel, but he's here in the super chat being as gracious as he always is. He says, yo, hit the like button. He goes, Xbox is trash, though. Shout out to the legends, Tim Dog and D-Back. Shout out to both of those guys. Great to have them both on tonight. Shout out to the great Jay Bari, by the way. Shout out, I'm going to give a shout out, even though he's going to get mad at me later. That's fine. But shout out to the great Persona as well. I talked to Persona this week. We miss you, Persona. And I love when he does his solo cast. So shout out to the great Persona as well. Bathy J says they need to go day and date on PS5. PS5 gamers are more important to Microsoft than Xbox gamers are now. Xbox gamers bragging about sales are missing that. Bathy J, I don't necessarily think it's. I understand where you're saying they need to do that, because that's kind of what the back was saying with the side piece. Once they had that taste of that money, they don't want to maybe go back. But I wouldn't sit here and say PS5 gamers are more important to Microsoft. That's not necessarily true, but Bathy J, big PlayStation fan. Lionel says
they are. You see what they did with Flight Sim, man.
Flight Sim is
Microsoft doing more for VR.
That's what I'm thinking. Right VR.
They are doing more for
Forza
VR.
Horizon 6.
Whoa. Was it confirmed to be VR supported?
Yeah, at the end it's PSVR 2.
Oh my gosh!
PS5 Pro, PSVR 2 with Microsoft Flight Sim. My goodness, can you imagine?
Let's go.
What do you think, Red Hood?
I was gonna say, like, I know everyone wants Microsoft to go back to like making their console like their priority, but I think so many factors that go into it with the Activision Blizzard, that so many people wanted that acquisition to occur, didn't realize the ramifications of what that really meant. And you're kind of seeing the after effects, right? Games going on Game Pass, of course, but also going, day and date on PlayStation. And they're going to continue doing that. Like Forza kind of showed that even though they put their games on their system, it doesn't sell as well as putting their games on PlayStation, right? There is appeal to their games. It's just the Xbox audience isn't as big as they hoped, and that no one's gravitating towards their system. So of course they're gonna start being multi-platform, as well as having hardware options for those diehard Xbox fans that are gonna continuously support, even though they're not that many.
See, now, Red, I hear what you're saying, but the whole play anywhere with anyone, any way you want, that slogan they're running with there, and that's basically what they're saying. We're gonna have hardware out there for the dedicated Xbox fan, but it just seems like every year that goes by. And Red, you've switched over. I know you play on PC and PS5 as well. So Red, that's the thing though. The problem is that dedicated hardware that kept that unified hardcore group together, it's dwindling because there's so many options. They're giving so many options that people are moving over. Like Death Singer was an Xbox fan. He now plays his Xbox games that he prefers. Xbox published games are now playing on PC. And I think Red Hood, that goes for me, goes for you. A lot of the folks that were Xbox are playing on their PC most of the times now. They're not playing that. But that's why I think having, with Tim's ideas, if they went back and pivoted, which again, I think it's almost like the ship has sailed, but you never know. I'm believe me, my eyes are wide open, waiting to see what happens here. I'm with you, Tim. Like I said, I'm hoping you're right.
Yeah, but we all know that Phil can't make that decision. That's a CEO decision.
That's right.
When it comes to Satya, and Satya,
that's right,
will remain in power because of his investors, that will be like, oh, we're making money now, putting these games on every other platform. Investors and shareholders are going to keep asking for it to continuously to happen, right? Unless the investors and shareholders are just like, oh, we don't have confidence now within the brand as a result. Now investors and shareholders are more confident as a result. So I just don't see that happening at this point. Unless some like huge change occurs within the gaming landscape, it's not gonna.
I just wanted to add, Mooch, just regarding the initial topic of discussion here at the start of the show. I don't actually particularly see a pivot when you actually think about it. What games have Microsoft released day one on PlayStation? It's games, it's IP that has already been established, right? So Doom, stuff like that. Outer Worlds 2 probably will, but when you're looking at the rest, they've been ports. They've been later ports, like Sea of Thieves, right? So, this Indiana Jones release later, it's a new IP. So, I think maybe they're just continuing that formula where new IP, the releases a few months later on PlayStation, but inevitably it comes with PS5 Pro support. Like you're getting Microsoft Flight Sim getting ported over with PSVR 2 support and PS5 Pro support. Like, it's just mad. Like, you really are getting the better product. It's almost like Xbox gamers are now the beta testers, but go figure. I mean, they pay less. They subscribe to Game Pass, so that, I guess that's you get to play it sooner, but you get the inferior version.
Well, it's like they put themselves in a pickle. Like, they really have put themselves in a pickle here, because you do. If you're going to release it now, you're going to release it day one, then you're going to release it to a better version of like PlayStation 5. See, the thing is that I point back to the transparency. Like, they have to kind of like talk, like say what they're doing. I think at the hardcores at least deserve that. If just say what your plan is. Like, what, like, you don't talk about hardware numbers. You don't talk about Game Pass numbers. You don't talk about what your plans are. You say you're doing this, you do another thing, then you're going back to doing another thing. All that stuff is just leading to your eroding confidence, your eroding trust. They're at a point where everyone's giving up on them. There's like it's not in a good spot. So I just would, to be honest, would just love if they just would just kind of just come clean and say, can you just like have a heart to heart for once with the fans that
just be transparent. I am with Barry though. I would like them to just focus on providing a unique value proposition for the console again. Like, I would much rather Microsoft Flight Sim not come out on PlayStation 5, but they develop PSVR to their own VR for Xbox and release more exclusive games for the Xbox platform. Because you like you said, Tim, exclusivity breeds competition, and competition is vital for growth in an industry, and with that, and to prevent stagnation of quality and cadence. So
the thing with that though, Wooly, is that what you're asking for right there is like wishing for your favorite, what you guys watching football, right? Having your favorite a million of your favorite players on your team showing up the next day, like that's just something that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. That ship has long sailed. But
dude, I'm getting haunted by this baby step gameplay over here, man.
Right?
Baby steps, dude.
You know what's funny? Jez, everybody made fun of baby steps, and I looked on Twitch last night. There's like 50,000 people watching baby steps.
They made me play this game. They made me play this thing. Dude, when he's bouncing around like that stuff, and he's just rolling there, and he's like, oh, damn. After he falls down the whole cliff, I said the same thing, because you got to then get your ass back up the whole thing. Like, there's no, like, let's stop back to where we were. Like, oh my god, this game.
It's a main game at that point.
Screw
it is brutal. And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, that's not fun when you're falling. That's not fun.
Hey, Jez, screw baby steps, screw Xbox. I want to talk about flipping Yotei, bro.
We're gonna listen.
I want to say about the whole. I have to say, like, in the last 2 weeks, I feel like, and I tweet this out in the sense of, I feel like with Nintendo's Nintendo show, Sony State of Play, Microsoft waking up to the Forza Horizon 6 in Japan has been friggin' awesome. That's been rumored for 2 years, 3 years. They've been trying to get the Forza
right. People wanted Japan.
Yes, it's for the call. Oh my god, it's gonna be awesome. I feel like I almost had this like E3 type, like this is what we've been missing, and now it's during the time of like the Tokyo Game Show. Like it's when all three of them showing up, showing why you should buy their stuff or why come to their platforms or do their things, and all three of them are doing it in the sync. And I'm like, yo, keep it coming, like don't stop, like this is what I miss from E3, man, because this is what we want. Like, and the games are. 2026 to be freaking crazy.
So I'm going to get out of here, guys. This has been honestly a fantastic, really, really riveting podcast. And when it's done, I'm going to send it to some good people.
Thank you.
Because I really feel very confident in how this show went. But I just got one thing to say. All of a sudden, that game, listen, Sony, I want to, you guys can talk about it because I'm going to leave. But Sony, to me, had a fantastic state of play. I really was impressed with it. And that game, I didn't see everything because I didn't see it at first. I saw it like 10 minutes in. That game, Saros, man, that game really, I think we got another AAA.
Absolutely.
You got that game, just the scale or whatever the hell they're doing, just the way it was. Yeah. Holy cow. And anybody that plays Pro and makes fun of the Pro, let me tell you something. That Pro is a gem. I played that thing is, for me, that's where I get my multiplats and everything. That system is more than at $750. I don't care. That's a steal.
Hey, Tim Dog, have you played Returnal, bro?
No, I know. I know
Tim Dog, you got to, man.
I know. I used to make fun of Returnal, to be honest. So I was thinking about that.
Oh, just you wait.
No, Saros really. Just really, man, Sony, like you gotta give them credit. Yeah, they've had their downs and they've had a little bit of a rough patch here for sure. Definitely, a lot of hits here, but man, they can really when they still do it, man. They still got it in. Saros, telling you right now, another 88 to 92 Metacritic, and it's gonna be a big game.
It's gonna be a big one.
And I heard Returnal. I was reading about it because you mentioned that. I read about it today. And everyone says it's the most underrated game by far. It's a
phenomenal game. I got 122 hours into it. I platinumed it, Tim. I'm going to tell you right now, it's worth every second of your time.
And it has co-op too.
Yeah, now it's co-op. That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's on PlayStation. And listen, I'm a big guy. I'm very happy with PlayStation Plus. I'm very, very happy with it. I think the value proposition is there. It's funny because it's always been compared, but man, they put Last of Us 2 on that. That's
Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 is there for Halloween. You can't get a better game than that.
Which tier is that? Is that essential or extra?
That's essential for Alan Wake 2.
But for me,
essential.
Essential is Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, it's in the big.
What about WWE? Is that essential?
Essential. That was essential as well.
What?
Yeah, it's a good deal.
No, Last of Us.
So then, what do you get with
Alan Wake is in the basic one. They're
awesome show. I'm going to send it out.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that, Timmy. Thank you, buddy. Great to have Tim here.
Send the link when it's done because I want to send it out.
Yeah, I'll actually send it to you in a moment.
Well, I'll send it to that guy we were talking about.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Tim.
Tim, play Returnal, bro.
Thank you, Tim. Tim, I'll reach out soon, buddy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
What do you get?
Great show.
What do you get? What do you get with extra? That's separate from essential.
Extra is when you get games, and I don't want to say. And Jazz, you pay attention to more of this on your channel, but Jazz, it was like you get a couple
essential
of the day one releases.
The basic one, it's equivalent to like Xbox Live.
Oh, I thought he said extra.
Is like equivalent to like a Game Pass. You get more.
Closer.
You get other games. I wouldn't say. And then there's the higher tier that gives you streaming.
Yeah, I know that one. That's what I had.
Classic games, which they've been failing on that.
And it gives you trials as well. It gives you
trials.
I had that version, and it lapsed.
Yeah, that's the premium one. Yeah, the middle one is good because that gives you the two of them.
The extra
raise the price.
I would recommend the extra D if you want. I would not do the premium. I would not do.
Essential.
Yeah, because I had the premium one before, right? But they raised the price.
Yeah, no.
So like when it lapsed, the price was like double. I was like, what the hell? I'm not paying that.
So guys, let me do this because a lot of the audience wants us to get into state of play, which I do. So I do have a lot that are on this. If you guys want to chime in on any of these here, because these guys have some thoughts here that I want to read out loud here because they gave me great super chats and I really appreciate them. is Lionel says Sean Layden said he started the PC initiative. Tim, I wish Tim was still here for that. Light X says Wolverine, let effing go. He said exclusives do sell, and I bet it moves PS5 consoles. I don't think Xbox will be able to compete, even if they now want to. Remember, a lot of these are from we were starting the show about an hour and change ago. So shout out to Light X. I appreciate that. JD and Brap going back and forth in the chat. I haven't been able to read all of them, but I see these guys having a conversation. JD says everyone wants to be a market analyst, but here's the truth. Microsoft has had this type of fight before, and we already know the outcome, and so does PlayStation. Remember IBM. So let me see what JD says after that. He says in the early days of Amazon, eBay, PayPal, Netflix, any industry disruptor, you had your detractors like Layden and Ibarra that were the old guard. So and JD, maybe I'm misspeaking for you here, but what he's saying with IBM is, and D, I know you must follow this. IBM at one time was making PCs. They stopped making the actual shell and selling the IBM PCs that they were doing in the 80s and early 90s, and they started making the interior components, processors, etc., and they were making plenty of money doing that. So I think what JD is trying to say, Microsoft not going the old-fashioned way anymore and doing consoles. Now they're just doing the software and selling that everywhere. JD, if I misspoke for you, I apologize, but that's the way I read it. Shout out to Moonshot, who yells at me. Moonshot, I love you dearly. Moonshot goes, Mooch, when are we reading these super chats? Right now, Moonshot. He says Microsoft can never capture the zeitgeist. I never say that word right. Wolverine trailer. He's saying, capture the history of what the actual console was in his reference. Wolverine trailer is an event. You can feel it in the air, and that is something PlayStation has perfected. Well, Moonshot, we're going to get into that in a moment because I know the audience really wants to, and the panel wants to talk some games right now. JC 2013 says Outer Worlds 2 day one on PS5. That's happening, right? We talked about that. Brian East says, if I know Ghost of Yotei is dropped, I already read Brian's. Brian, thank you for that. Vin Games or Wine Vin Games, he says, Doug Bowser retiring. Does anyone think it's good? It's on good terms. I do want to talk about that. I didn't have it as a topic. He says,
oh, wait, he's retiring?
Yeah, Doug Bowser's retiring. He says, mission accomplished. He goes, or forced out due to Switch 2 reception.
I didn't know that.
Could be a reach, but Switch 2 doesn't seem to have the allure of the OG or Wii. What do you guys think? You guys think? I don't have it as a topic, so we can talk about that for a second. What do you guys think about Doug Bowser retiring? Is that a clear indication of the Switch 2 launch?
So this is what I think. Like we've noticed that certain like CEOs and companies, when there's a good generation when the new console launches, that they'll retire on a good note, right? Like Jack Tretton, right? Like after the PS3 generation,
Jim Ryan.
He ushered into the PS4 generation, and then he retired, right? But it's a bit different, I would say, when it comes to like Nintendo North America, because like they don't really necessarily do any huge decisions. If I remember correctly, oh my gosh, Reggie. I think one of the biggest things he did, which he did push back, was I think he got like the demo for the Wii like for free because they wanted to charge it or something like that. I don't know if he like wrote that in his book, but somebody can like correct me if I'm wrong. But typically the North American CEOs don't really do much. They're kind of like PR essentially. But somebody can like say it in the chat. That's completely wrong, but that's kind of like what I've like heard and seen.
So that makes sense, especially what you were saying, Red, that a lot of these execs will kind of they'll dip out after they have a successful launch. The thing is, a lot of people are reading it the opposite way here. Now, listen, I understand that people want to sit there and say that the Switch 2 had a terrible, it got some bad press, but it also sold very well. Imagine if somebody was like, Red, but you just sold, it's horrible. The way you put it out there was horrible. You don't have this and that. And you're like, yeah, but I broke records. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's what I kind of agree with Red. I think Doug's just like, I've been here for 40 something years. I'm going to retire and, peace out, everybody. I did my job. I'm out. I don't think it's an indication of his poor performance on the launch of the Switch, but I could be wrong. I think we'll find out more as hopefully the media. I like it when the media actually does like some.
Who's taking his position? Did they say?
They did. Yeah. They did show who it was.
A guy named Mario?
No, it's not Mario. No.
All right.
I forgot what her name is. Jeez, I'm gonna have to look it up. Give me a sec.
Yo, if it's Yoshi somebody, that'd be hilarious.
No.
Luigiana.
You finding it, Red?
Yeah, I'm
That's
looking
crazy.
at Shinobi's tweet.
Oh, so
I would think, like, you know, yeah, I agree. Like we're Red. Like,
yeah,
you know, the thing
Devin
is after.
Pritchard
Okay, sorry.
is her name.
Yes.
Devin Pritchard.
That's the name. Yep. I don't have the article in front of me because it literally that kind of news broke around, I want to say around 5:30, 6 o'clock Eastern time. JD Gamer says IBM wanted Microsoft to supply software only. Okay, IBM wanted Microsoft to supply software only to them, but Microsoft decided to create IBM compatible to all PC makers, expanding the market to what we have today. Although not locked to one box. Yes, okay. My analogy was not what you were talking about there, or my instance, JD, but I follow you. Shout out to the great JC 2013. He says, I already said that, pardon me. He says Outer Worlds day one on PS5. I'm trying to see here. Batticus Prime, he says, I wonder if Insomniac would push the release date window for Wolverine if GTA 6 release date gets pushed to fall. Okay, so, well, that's...
That, like, remember, Mooch, like, did you hear about that, like, was it rumor or leak that they're thinking about pushing it to fall and that it's going to be a $70 price tag and that I think the $100 version, I think is early access for GTA Online or something like that.
I did see what you're talking about. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if they can even get bad press at this point because I think everybody just wants GTA 6. I don't think... You guys see this thing move into fall? I think GTA comes out in, what is it, May right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I could see it somehow. I could see it somehow still. They always they delay it like 2 times, right? Every
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. History's on your side, Red. I just think that at this point, with the discussion and the push, you guys. Let me ask you this. Here's a little tinfoil hat stuff for you guys. Do you think that they moved it to May of 2026 because PlayStation wanting to get that PSSR 2.0 out there in early 2026, so they have time to work with that to get? Because Detzinger is a prime example. Detzinger says, I'm buying a PS5 Pro if GTA 6 is 60 frames plus. If I think there's a lot of people that might feel that way in making the buy to the Pro. Do you guys think that has something to do with it?
I think I don't know if I said this in my show, but I still say that the issue with GTA Online is they got not GTA Online, GTA 6. Like, if you've seen that trailer and you see Digital Foundry's like breakdown of that, it's crazy. The visuals, it's crazy. The lighting, the shadows, the ray tracing, like in terms of the amount of details that they have, along with probably the amount of NPCs and maybe buildings you have to go through. A lot of that, and D-Bash probably will attest to that, is it's CPU intensive, and GTA 6 is going to be very CPU intensive as a result, on top of the ray tracing. Which ray tracing is GPU focused. The problem with the Pro is it's more overclocked CPU instead of like a actual upgrade to the CPU, and that's kind of like what they're gonna have to hope that a lot of the new upscaling can get it to 60 FPS.
I truly, and I've been saying this from day one, I truly think it's going to be at 60 or damn well near 60 with VRR support. I just feel that the upscaling is just going to be superior, where they're going to be able to, put down, the resolution. It's going to be less taxing on the CPU. It's going to free up some other resources in the system. And I think they'll be able to achieve that. And especially with, FSR 4 coming to PSSR. And to my knowledge, as well, Frame Gen is going to come. I think they're in a good position. And if this does happen, the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be the hottest console. Gamers are going to go get that console just for that ultimate Uber GTA experience, because we know it's not coming on PC day and date. So it could really move a lot of PlayStation 5 Pros, and I just think it's going to sell a lot on the PlayStation platform, period.
Yeah, I do too. And I think, like we were saying before when Tim was here, when they were talking about the doom and gloom of console sales, wait to see the articles next year that come out once that game comes out. I mean, and Jay Barry, you don't think that's in your?
Really short-sighted that they're not even considering.
They're not, right?
Of that game.
Jazz, you saw that. He's like, I'm concerned about it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of things you can be concerned about these days, but I don't think that's one of them right now. Especially, and Sony just came out at was it at the Tokyo Game Show that they said PS5 is their most successful console. I mean, I don't know. I don't get me wrong. Numbers are a very interesting thing because they only show facts, but sometimes they don't show all the facts, right? Depends on what column you're looking at. So, shout out to the great JD Gamer who's back again in the chat in the super chat. He says PlayStation doesn't care if you own a PlayStation; they care if you buy their games, hardware, and their controllers. So they don't want you to be PC. They don't want you to be a PC head. Own a PlayStation. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that I guess I'll ask you that question to you guys here. Jay Barry, let me ask you a question. Jay, we've all kind of gone around earlier and said that we encourage competition, which is better for us as far as I think quality. But the one thing is that Sony is reliant on PlayStation. I think them dipping in quality and not getting the sales that they want to get, that could be detrimental to them. So I mean, they've got to keep their quality at a certain level, or I mean, if PlayStation tanks, Sony's in trouble.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of pushback there.
Go ahead. No, please.
As a whole. If you're into the movie industry, and Jay Barry can, I've seen his tweets, but I've been into like Anime Crunchyroll and stuff like that. They had like a recent movie coming out, and they kind of are doing this also with several anime movies, essentially, right? Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle arc,
incredible.
Part 1 made like, it's about to crack 600 million probably by the end of this weekend, more than likely, and it hasn't even hit China, and that's like predicted because they got the approval, more than likely going to make another 100 million. So that's going to be like ballpark, maybe by the end 750, 800 million at a $20 million budget. Like in terms of like that, like for movie anime stuff, like it's kind of crazy. And they're going to be making boatloads of money when it comes to that. They have also another like anime movie, Chainsaw Man. Some people might be into this sphere because, you know, anime and gaming sometimes overlap. Mm-hmm. But they're making a lot of money now when it comes to that side of things. And they're going to kind of continue pushing that. That's why they own Aniplex. That's why they invested into Katakawa as a result. That they're going to not have to be super heavily reliant on PlayStation. It's still their bread and butter, but that's going to be another pillar, and that's kind of like what they've been talking about is pushing these IPs, and also Jujutsu Kaisen and all this stuff. That it won't be like this heavy thing where like PlayStation's going to be their only main source of income, and that's kind of what they want to do is go into different mediums, make a lot of money promoting their IPs.
That's true, Red. You gotta appreciate that and remember the fact that, you know, the amount of revenue they make off the PlayStation Store, just that 30% alone, is astronomical. And you know, it's big releases like GTA coming out, where, you know, and the consequential GTA Online, you know, and the FIFAs, the EAs, like if they as the generation goes on, the value proposition diminishes with a console because PC hardware continues to progress and innovate and depreciate in value. So basically, what was expensive 5 years ago is affordable and quite cheap. And so the appeal to get a PC more powerful than the PS5 when it released 5 years ago. At a relatively affordable price now, because it's been 5 years since the PS5 released, it's real. And so if they don't continue to offer a unique value proposition, people are just going to go to Steam where games are cheaper. And it's not just the exclusives that, you know, PlayStation aren't prime. It's not the first party games that are the main money maker here. It's all the third party sales and the 30% through the store. So they need to maintain that user base. They need to maintain that 100 million, you know, and not have people kind of leave the ecosystem, because it would be an astronomical dent in their business. Even though, yes, they're making fantastic money on Crunchyroll, you know how it is in business. You know, the pot is never full, and shareholders will always shareholder. And, you know, like, they've got margins and quotas to meet. You know, it's like...
So I was going to say this when it comes to that. Like, I absolutely agree that the bread and butter in terms of, like, is the 30%, like, you know, when a game is bought on their storefront, they get 30% if it's a third-party game, right? So, absolutely agree with that. I was just saying, you know, bringing back a little bit pushback that it's the sole thing, because it's not the sole thing anymore at the end of the day. But they should be competitive, and I absolutely agree with that. So
yeah, facts. And Sony are first and foremost a hardware company. It's what they're known for. You know, I felt almost like nostalgic when they revealed the new speakers with innovative.
I actually,
AI,
I was excited about. I was excited about that as well.
Chat.
Yeah, I really was.
And voice chat. It made me feel nostalgic because it reminded all of us why Sony are Sony. You know, like what they are innovators in hardware. They always have been. They've always been top of the production line with quality of screens and monitors. They've always been the top of the quality line when it comes to audio. And you know, they take pride. Look at the dedicated audio block in the PS5. You know, you got to take 20% of the juice of a Series X, of the Series X's 12 teraflops, just for the audio alone. You know, because it hasn't got its own dedicated block. So it's like, well, PlayStation, they got their own dedicated audio block, a 3D audio block. It's like they really put a lot of pride and meticulous kind of attention to detail in the hardware. And you know, I think, you know, it would be a damn shame if they diminished the mind share of you know, what's made PlayStation all this time such a
personally,
yeah.
I think you guys are being very rude right now.
Uh-oh.
What happened? I think you guys are being very rude and disrespectful to the fact that we had a wonderful state of play and we out here talking about, I don't know what the hell we talking about.
Yeah, we gotta get. We're gonna get to state of play right now, Jay. We're gonna get to it right now.
I got very average.
Mooch, I gotta get out of here.
I know.
Man.
D and Tim were both like, I'll stay for an hour, and I kept them here for 2 hours. So that's an accomplishment for Mooch. I'm gonna go ahead and write that down for myself. D, great to have you, buddy, as always. You know, I love it when you're on the show. You don't understand. I gotta cut deals to get D on here. No, I'm kidding. D, great to have you, buddy. Tell everybody I said what's up too, because I know I stole you away from the family tonight. So
yeah. You know where to send that money. I'll give you the email address.
That's right.
Now you guys can find me at YouTube at dbatch, and of course on X at D_batch. Thanks for having me. It's a great time to be a gamer, man. We got some good games. Silent Hill F is out today. I'm gonna play it when I get off this podcast. We got games coming out next week, so play games, guys, and enjoy yourselves. All right, I'm out.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Shout out to Blessed Red, by the way. Blessed Red, I have absolutely no. Just because you buy a PC that has great specs on it doesn't mean that you're supposed to know how every part was soldered onto the board. You know, he's like, you got a 5090 and this that you bought all that to stay ignorant on PC. Listen, buddy, I got a 5090 so I can put everything on Epic and just enjoy the game when I want to play it there. If you want to worry about the soldering holes, you worry about that shit. I'm not worried about that. I got to be honest with you. That's the problem. PC guys will build a PC and then all of a sudden they're, you know what I mean? They're a PhD. All right, let's get back to this.
PC guys are weird, man. They will tell you get a PC, get a PC. PC is the best thing. Yeah. You get a PC, then they upset that you get a PC.
Yeah,
because it's not the specs that you want them.
I got the PC. And he's like,
wait. Let me give it. Wait, hold on. Let me give you a little pushback, brother. I'm a PC gamer. Mooch, could you attest to that?
Yes, you are.
Told you that. And be like, yo.
Oh, you have never. No, you haven't. But Blessed Red, we were talking. So I was just talking to him about FSR 4 and PSSR 2. Mm-hmm. And I remember that when I read an article about it a while ago, the whole point of that was to try to get the frame rate up where it couldn't, you know, where the PlayStation couldn't do that in prior and in multiple games, maybe even helping something like the Portal in the article. It said maybe get those frames that it couldn't do before through. So I said that to him, and he's like, "Oh no, it's only helping the frames when it's on the GPU side, not the CPU side." But listen, buddy, I don't come on here and I never wear a PC. You could Death Singer. I never pretend to be. First thing I always say is Death Singer's my PC guy here. I go to Death Singer. I even ask him questions in the DM. Hey, Death Singer, what do you think of this? I don't pretend to be a PC guy, and I'm not pretending to be one tonight. That's what I'm saying. So when he said, what did you get a 5090 for? I got a 5090, though, Red. I'll talk to you. Red, I got the 5090, so I didn't have to worry about that shit. Right? That was the whole point. Yeah. I mean, you just play the game however you want to play the game. That's why I got that. I mean, Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, even if you have a 5090, you can't escape Unreal Engine 5. But
well, that's true. There you go. That's the one loophole. I did not know that was in the fine print. But you are true.
To be fair, consoles are dealing with that too.
But it's more pronounced when you have a 5090 and they're turning around and saying, "Oh, it's a you issue." It's like, nah, it's your goddamn engine. But whatever,
Yeah. Blessed Red goes, even with a 5090, you could still be CPU bound. I know. That's why I wrote you earlier in the chat. I said I got the top level CPU, the top level 50 graphics card. I just said that earlier. Blessed Red, listen, when's the test? I'll study. Guys,
before we get into state of play, I just want to say this when it pertains to Microsoft. Listen, Microsoft, I love y'all. Xbox, I love y'all. I'm converting over to Xbox, so if you want me to talk positively about Xbox, all you need to do is send me a ROG Ally X, and I praise Xbox. You know what I mean? Yeah, we starting to go in that lane now. But not joking.
Yeah, I'll take one too. Actually, if Xbox paid attention.
I'm joking. But,
he's definitely joking.
If you want to slide me one for free so I can review it, Switch 2 is still better, but I would take one for free and I give it a fair and honest Jay Barry review. Xbox, so to send that over.
Well, I appreciate it.
The only thing I'm waiting for is Steam Deck 2. That's it. That'll be for another Steam 3 years for me.
Steam Deck 2 is something to keep an eye on if you want a handheld, just because I always say it's the console experience, Red, because I turn it on and it legitimately just boots right up. You don't have to worry about this and that. All these other things, whenever it was the original ROG Ally that I got, the original one, now not the one now. I'm sure now it's a lot more user friendly. But the original one had Windows, and I had to download this, and I had to download that. It was such a pain in the ass. I was like, the Steam Deck may not have the power that the ROG Ally has, but man, oh man, it's just a joy to play a game on, especially like Hades 2 coming out. Hades 2 on the Steam Deck, great game, right? Great game.
I think it's out already.
It's out. Yeah,
I find a pain in the ass, Mooch. I find a pain in the ass.
What's that?
The little joysticks, bro. Like, for goodness sake, every PC handheld has them. And it's like, even the PS Portal has them. And I thought the PS Portal was supposed to be a DualSense controller with a screen in the middle. Nope, because it's got them tiny little analog sticks, which have zero kind of like, you can't do any fine motor skills with those things. Like, there's no accuracy there. And it just annoys me, bro. Like, I'm always playing games with a handicap when I'm playing on one of these handhelds.
The handheld, the only thing, I do understand your frustration there, Willie. The other thing with the handhelds that gets me is it's like gaming for hours, but on like with your head like tilted down and you're like on your. It's just, for me, it's uncomfortable. I know they sell all these other things that you can, like there's a pillow and there's a this and there's a that, and I'm like I don't think about all that stuff when I game. I generally will just jam out when I'm on travel for work or I'm in the airport. Like, it's a great thing. Hades, I always yell to Hades. I have Hades on Steam. I'm gonna get Hades 2 on Steam, because to have that on the go, Willie, that's a lot of fun to play for 45 minutes, an hour at a time. Great stuff.
But you have to be selective. You have to be selective of the game. You can't play first-person shooter on a Steam Deck.
No, I would not say that. I also wouldn't recommend it. And Death Singer is going to say earmuffs, Death Singer, but I would say, don't play Witcher 3 on it either. Like, nothing that's going to be. You can.
Absolutely.
No, you can. But I wouldn't recommend playing something that's 300 hours on that device. But that's me. That's me.
The problem is the technology for the battery.
That too.
It depends what you want to play on there, because I would play like Final Fantasy Tactics. I'd play the entire game on there, because it's like games like Wasteland 3, Final Fantasy Tactics, Baldur's Gate 3, generally CRPGs and isometric games, they're beautiful on the Steam Deck. They just like Yakuza is another great game on the Steam. Like the Steam Deck is great for like RPGs and isometric and CRPGs and even RTS games. So that's kind of what I use it for. I wouldn't use it for a shooter or like a racer or anything, but for those kinds of games, that's what it's there for.
Well, I do. That's exactly what it's intermittent gaming. I think I agree with you, Death Singer. Shout out to the great.
You gonna pay $1,000 for to play set genre games.
Exactly, that's my point.
What do you mean 1,000? Steam Deck is only what?
No, we're talking about the LIX. We're talking about.
I think he's talking about the ROG, but yeah, I play games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, Street Fighter 6 on it and stuff like that, and they're pretty good.
This is where I'm a bit puzzled, guys. Now, forgive me for throwing this spanner in the works, but here I am wondering. Well, if the games of choice are so limited by the less accurate controls, right? And you have to be more niche in your choice of games, and people enthused by these handhelds are primarily, PC Master Race, and they all care about the high fidelity visuals. Even though Bless Red in the chat, bless his heart, has a 1440p monitor, he thinks that Ghost of Yotei at 1440p 60 is poor image quality with ray tracing. It's like you've got these PCMarists who are so concerned about image quality and fidelity that they're willing to wait for years for the game to come to PC. But here you guys are hyping up £1,000 product to play CRPGs.
No, that's
the same.
No, he was saying the Steam. He was saying the Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. He wasn't talking about or anything.
And also, don't like 1440p is my primary way. When you throw on rate, like prime example, play Cyberpunk, path tracing, 1440p, maxed out settings. Even though it's 1440p, I guarantee you that shit make pops. That shit is absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. 4K is just, personally, kind of overrated compared to 1440p. I think 1440p is the sweet spot. But
we agree. But then I see people like, and by the way, I know you were talking about the Steam Deck. I wasn't saying you were talking about the ROG Ally. But for example, Bless Red in the chat on Twitter, he was saying that he doesn't want to play a game at 60 FPS, but with poor image quality on a PS5 Pro, he'd rather wait for it to come to PC. And I'm like, but what if the image quality if the resolution is 1440p anyway? Like you're not going to see better image quality than 1440p on a 1440p monitor. So I'm kind of confused by like
you will, because you can actually adjust. You can have higher setting, ambient occlusion, higher shaders.
Yeah, that graphics. That's not resolution though.
It's
that's not image quality.
Okay, I want to get to the crux of it. Like, and Def can attest to this or not. Like, at the end of the day, if you're a PC gamer, it's all about choice. There are certain PC gamers that are going to be very snobby-like and be like, hey, you need to play on this settings or change this setting or resolution or frame rate. But, like, play however you want to play. But at the end of the day, if you want to, like, have higher frame rate, super high frame rate, 240 frame rate, go to 1080p. If you want 1440p, go to 1440p at, like, 120. If you want the 4K experience, get a 5090 or 6090 when it comes out, and the highest settings possible. It's like, it's all about choice. It's all about what you want to do with your hardware.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if somebody tells you otherwise and tries to like lecture you, which there are some PC gamers like that, and just ignore them.
You got Bless Red. He upset in the chat.
Yeah, Bless is not.
He's always upset, man. Bless Red is always upset.
Well,
but for you, like, I ain't trying to
Bless,
throw
every comment you get, you got to drop a super chat for us.
You got to drop a super chat.
We want to talk about state of play. You got everybody talking about PC, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Blessed Red, you won. Okay, he got his way, guys. He wanted to talk PC. He got his way. He was like, "Why are we talking about Xbox when we could be talking about?"
Every comment he makes, it got to be a super chat.
It got to be a super chat. Bless. Yeah. No, shout out to Bless.
He's doing too much now. He's doing too much.
So he said, "Willie, you're lying on my name. I never said Ghost looks bad." He said, "And I have a 4K, 240 hertz OLED."
I swear down. You know, the first thing he said when I was like, "Oh my days, this Yotei looks insane." He went, "Does it look as good as Ghost of Shadows? As AC Shadows, though." And he said it he was making a rhetorical statement, right? He was not being genuine. He was not asking in good faith. He was totally being rhetorical, right? In how he was saying it. And then he kind of tried to gaslight and double down on it, suggesting that he meant it innocently. Like, he's genuinely curious. Like, does the graphics compare to Shadows? You're seeing what I'm seeing, bro. Use your eyes. You can see the same footage as I can. Why are you asking me? It's like, you're obviously being rhetorical because AC Shadows on your 5090 Super Rig with your monitor looks mind-blowingly good, you know. Like, but it's like, why would you ask that question if it wasn't rhetorical? It doesn't make any sense.
Are you playing Ghost of Tsushima October 2nd?
Oh, Ghost of Yotei.
I mean, Ghost of Yotei. My bad. Ghost of Yotei.
Man, I'm so hyped for Yotei, bro. Like,
at the end of the day, who gives a fuck what Bless Red? My bad, Mooch. Who
gives
a damn what Bless Red got to say about Ghost of Yotei?
Listen,
he ain't played the game until a year later.
This happens.
Let him say what he got to say. Enjoy the game.
This PC talk happens once and again every couple of weeks. Let's move on because I do have super chats and I do want to hear what you guys have to say about State of Play. Believe it or not, and I want to talk about Ghost of Yotei as well. So AK DualSense, he says, I'm just so amazed that after all this time with everything they did to their fans, I think we're still talking about Microsoft here. He says, why Halo, Gears, and Forza, that's it for 20 years. Why is it still so hard for the Xbox? AK DualSense, he said to me, he yelled at me. He's like, Mooch, I wrote this a while ago. When are you going to read it? So AK, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Glinzer says, Xbox's next show is State of Canceled Play, featuring Forza Motorsport, Perfect Dark, Everwild, and Blackbird, which I never heard of Blackbird. I don't know what that is. Must have been. Is that another game that came out from Rare? I'm not sure. Shout out to Glinzer anyways. Babor says, can anybody on the... now Babor's going to... All right, let's talk Ghost of Yotei because Babor's going to go here. He says, can anybody on the panel explain Elden Ring's story? Then he comes back and says, because I have issues with Yotei's review scores. He says, Yotei an 8 review from the same folks that... I will be politely reading this off, that really blessed the Elden Ring story and gave so he's saying, and I did not see, I assume you're talking about IGN, Babor. I did see the rating. I didn't watch their review of Yotei, so you'll have to take my apology on that. But what do you guys think?
Can I?
Go on.
Okay, so, and maybe you'll agree with this, Death Singer. The story presentation is two different mediums, right? Like, From Software, Miyazaki does story presentations via item descriptions, and the lores when facing bosses, right? Whereas Ghost of Yotei or Ghost of Tsushima is very much so like in your face. They're telling you a story, which I'm not going to disagree if one's better than the other. People have their preferences. A lot of people like to piece together stories, like From Software, they have their fan base. They have so many lore videos for Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. Whereas a lot of people, from what I've gathered from reviews, is that it's kind of predictable, right? It's a revenge story. They've been flat out telling you what the trajectory of the story is. It's just how it's presented. Whether or not you like revenge stories. If you don't like revenge stories and you want something super complex, then maybe that Ghost of Yotei is not good, like in that regard. But
I will say to Elden Ring though, it's like when you actually get into it, the story compared to other Dark Souls games, the story is actually pretty good size because you understand like Miquella's point of view, and then you have Radahn and why Radahn is the way Radahn is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go through and you talk to him and you talk to the people and you actually piece together, obviously, eventually you want to become the Elden Lord and whatever. And you're told that from the start, like what it's about. So I think the story's there, but it's more you actually have to go out and find it. It's not presented to you in a typical story-driven game. Like, here we go. You start off in the intro cutscene. You're riding through a village. Your whole family is being killed. And then everything's on fire. And then you wake up stranded on a beach somewhere. And you're like, I need to go hunt down these people who did this to my village. Like, that's where in Elden Ring, they give you the intro where it's like, it is showing forging the Elden Ring. And then it breaks. And then it's like, okay, now go into the world and go discover the story. And I personally, I enjoy that because, it requires exploration. It requires you to go out and do something. It's not just spoon feeding it to you on a plate. So I can understand both points of view. I don't think either are wrong. The way Ghost does it is perfectly fine. And the way Elden Ring does it is perfectly fine. There's no complaint either way.
Well, anybody on that, anybody who wants to explain what? So Babor says, he says, F it. He says that explain it to me. I'm an adult. I don't So what was the gripe that was in the review?
It's just very predictable. Like from what I gather from reviews, they're just saying it's predictable.
The gameplay or the story?
No, the story. The story. Ghost of Yotei's story. Which, I don't think that's a bad thing. It depends what you want, though, out of your story.
It's a samurai vengeance story. I don't think
it's a samurai. It's like if you guys ever watched any of those, Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme movies a long time ago. Like, were you ever in suspense? Like, is Jean-Claude Van Damme going to win? Yeah, maybe.
I think it depends on what reviewers want out of that story, right? So if I guess when reviewing it, they're like, hey, it's just way too predictable, then that's gonna be their own criticism. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If people think it's predictable, some people think it's predictable, but if you like how it's going to be a revenge story, you're gonna like it. I think that's
He asked the question. He asked the question. I'll explain it to him. I'll give you the 3-sentence TLDR of Elden Ring, right?
Yes, the short version, please.
So you're a banished warrior, basically, and you return to the land. Queen Marika shattered the Elden Ring, which governs order and reality, and your whole thing is to gather the fragments of the ring from Marika's demigod children, which are Radahn, etc., etc. That's why when you kill them, you get the runes, and you need to become the new Elden Lord. There we go. That's the whole thing. You have to go kill this woman's children to go collect pieces of the ring to go forge it to become the new Elden Lord. Easy. I mean,
I gotta be honest with you.
I'm quite impressed. I would say that's the premise, but they add more layers to it with Shadow of Earth Tree.
So do you think Saros is in the Returnal world?
I thought they said it was in a different
planet.
Different planet. Yeah, that's the way I understood it.
I don't know. I'm hoping that there's some hints, maybe I'm sure there's going to be some little Easter eggs, maybe that may be in the same world. It'll be pretty cool. They're on different planets.
Yeah. Well, so let me.
They look like Returnal too, like the lighting and stuff. Everything.
Listen,
so awesome.
Oh, yeah, definitely looks like it DNA wise.
And we could let's switch over to State of Play real quick here, or do you want to talk Ghost of Yotei? What do you guys want to do, Ghost of Yotei, or you guys want to do State of Play real quick?
Up to you guys.
I didn't read any reviews of Ghost of Yotei because I'm getting it anyway.
I'm getting it anyway too. Yeah, I don't.
All I've seen about Yotei,
I pre-ordered. I'm playing it. I'm playing my wolf.
Right.
Yeah, Eurogamer aside, the praise for Yotei is insane.
It looks incredible. The new pictures that they've been showing.
I saw it beautiful
environments and looks awesome.
John Lineman said that. The way that the story is delivered is night and day above the original game. And he said, he just said it's absolutely basically an audio-visual masterpiece. He said the audio is some of the best he's heard, and it's the best Sucker Punch game possibly ever made.
They got a Ray Trace Pro mode. Did you see? I don't know who shared it out, but they show all the different. There's 6 different settings to play it in.
What they've done with that ray tracing, Jazz, is it's a hybrid ray trace solution. So what John reckons it is they're using probes. And they're using ray trace GI, including color bleed from the main character, which is pretty impressive, and bounce lighting based on probe placement. So, for example, what I mean by that is the main character, her bright yellow clothing will bleed light onto her surrounding wood, maybe that she stood next to, and you'll see a bit of the yellow tinge on the wood. But an NPC's bright yellow coat wouldn't do that. That's what it basically is. It's more limited, but that's to save performance.
It looks so good.
But what the actual result is incredibly gorgeous. Like it's really impressive.
Well, because the big thing with this one is that the environment is going to be doing like it's kind of like guided with the environment's going to do the storytelling or the guidance of where to go. Like it's not going to be as prompt heavy, apparently, what they were saying.
And they started that with the first one too, though, Jess, because you would actually follow the wind, right? You would follow that wind. Honestly, it's kind of, I'm with Jay Bari on what he was saying a second ago, and it may sound like we're making light of it, but it's not. It's what made Ghost of Tsushima so amazing was. It was the duels, it was the fights, it was the side quests, it was even the small tasks, right? I did read that they got rid of some of the tedious small tasks. But I'll be honest with you, I platinumed Ghost of Tsushima, and I'll tell you that nothing on there was that I ever feel was long in the tooth. I didn't think the game kept me there. Like when I got the platinum for Days Gone, I was like, we could have done without the last, I almost think it could have been an epilogue, right? That they had at the end there. Mm-hmm. That whole last part after, I don't know if you don't want to do spoilers, but after the situation with the girl and he found, I don't know. Can you say what it is again? I don't know if
people yell spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. But I won't do that. But like my point being is like that whole section after that could have definitely been trimmed out as far as I'm concerned. I thought that was a little long, but I enjoyed the game nonetheless. But I thought that Ghost of Tsushima had the right run time. I liked everything they did. So I'm excited for this one here. You do have your companion as well, which is great, by the way. I think that was you, Jez, who said you're looking forward to that. But yeah, I think the other thing I want to bring up to you guys with Ghost of Yotei that I thought was interesting is supposedly this was done with a $60 million budget, which $60 million, that's a lot of money, right? But not in the world of gaming. So nowadays we're talking 200 million plus for a lot of these big games. What do you think about 60 million? Does that let you guys, do you guys get a warm and fuzzy feeling from that? Does the money spent on it even bother you? Do you think that maybe they should have spent more money, or does that, it didn't even hit your radar?
I don't care.
I think if people, this is what I think. A lot of people got to realize that, hey, we want like crazy bells and whistles and like top of the line graphics. Is going to cost a lot of money. Like mocap and everything like that. It's going to cost a lot of money. Like, I know people want visuals like GTA 6. Brother, like that game costs a lot.
A lot.
More than 60 million. So people got to realize that if you want more like sequels and certain studios surviving and thriving, yeah, the budgets are going to have to be lower. And we've been saying that a lot. Like too much budget inflation is occurring within some of these development cycles for video games. And that's going to be a point where you got to budget accordingly. And that's kind of what they did with Ghost of Yotei, whether or not you like that or not. But I think personally, they should start doing that more for games now. And it is what it is.
They really should, because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, right? The equivalent in US dollars is like 45 million, right? In their own currency, but if you converted it to US dollars, it was like 45 million for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Look at how good that game is. And think about how much it actually costs to make in the equivalent. If it's like, you don't need 200 million to make a fantastic game.
Right.
With good visuals.
That's right.
They hired
but if you get a $200 million game and it's good, what who gives a fuck? I mean, who gives a damn? You know what I'm saying? I get it when it comes to the release cadence. That it could get a little crazy that you have every single game budgeting around that. But at our end, all we should be caring about is like if this game is good or not.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like is this game fun?
That's right.
You know, because I want games to continue to push the envelope. Create these benchmarks. I'm not saying that every game needs to be $200 million or whatnot, but I don't mind that stuff releasing as well. But at the end of the day, let's make a great game.
Well, that's but Jay, just to add something to that, first of all, you're 100% right, because we've all played 200 million plus games that were not good games, right? And then we played some games that were under 60 million that were phenomenal games, right? So Jay's right. If you're going to go out there and spend that 200, 300, yeah, do it. Do it up and do it right. Do it up and do it right. We're here for it, right? We're here for it. But
Like I think like with Ghost, you're not going to get that big budget like that because of the world you're in, the time zone. It's not like Spider-Man compared to Ghost. You're in New York City. They're paying for market placement, all this stuff that's in the city, in the world. That stuff adds into the development costs as well with Spider-Man. You know what I mean? So
the problem with Spider-Man is
licensing fees too. On top of that, like their budget's crazy from the leaks and stuff like that for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, they hired like 15 writers or something. The first game only had 3. And it's like, no wonder the writing was terrible and the game suffered as a result. Too many chefs in the kitchen. It wasn't a passion project anymore. It wasn't a love letter from a fan to fans like the first game was. It was just, a mess. And, that just proves it. Ultimately, I think Sucker Punch has found a perfect balance here between, prioritizing the right things and instead of overhiring, they've focused on what works, and they've still been able to make the game considerably more beautiful than the first game, which is saying a lot because the first game, is still considered, in my opinion, one of the most artistically beautiful games ever made.
Yes.
So for them to have made it just exponentially superior by the sounds of it is just awesome. And they've been able to focus on what matters, i.e. the things that mattered the most to people who retrospectively critiqued the first game is the way the dialogue is delivered, the story delivery, the things that will make the game even more compelling, and as well as obviously the gameplay.
So JD Gamer's in the chat, and I see him. He's going back and forth with JC 2013 talking about the handhelds here. He says the Xbox ROG Ally is $599. He says it's like a Steam Deck Pro with longer battery, slightly better APU, and Xbox full screen experience alongside a Steam and Epic. Yeah, I mean, JD, the thing about it, though, that when it comes down to the handheld market, there's no doubt that the ROG Xbox Ally, whether it's the $600 one or the $1,000 one, it's a much more powerful unit than the Steam Deck. That's not debatable. We agree with you there. The thing about it is the market, even Steam, which has an unbelievable audience and clientele, sold what 3-4 million, maybe up. Let's throw another million on there for fun. 5 million units total, and that's Steam. This Asus ROG Ally for $600 and $1,000.
It's not going to sell as much.
It's just
and the thing is too. Asus is a hardware company, so yeah, they've collaborated with Microsoft, but they don't get like software sales to cover their base. Whereas Steam,
right,
they can make hardware, but guess what makes up for it? Their software sales, right? The 30%.
And also their own OS, which obviously, which is superior. Let's keep it 100. The Steam OS is absolutely fantastic. But then again, it's Linux based, so that's a given. But the Steam Deck is the perfect companion to a PC gamer. The ROG Ally is like a standalone handheld, but the Steam Deck is so integrated with your Steam library, and you can even use it as a standalone. You can plug it into a monitor and use it as a PC itself. It has.
It's funny you say that, bro, because I could have sworn that the PlayStation was the perfect companion to a PC gamer.
It's perfect companion to 2% of the base probably, but it's the Steam Deck.
I understand. Singer is very biased.
Hang on. Let's just make that make sense, because then what's the Steam Deck, 0.001% of the total population? Because how many sales have handheld PCs made compared to the PlayStation? Let's just refresh my memory.
How many PC owners own a PlayStation?
A lot more than Steam Decks. They own a lot more of them own PlayStations than Steam Decks. I'll tell you that now.
One's a companion device, the other one's an entirely different ecosystem and an entirely different set hardware.
Well, he's getting one on you there, Destiny, with your play on words, I think.
That's all he does. It's semantics every time.
Well, no, it's like the Portal is a perfect companion device to the PS5, right? Everyone would agree with that.
How about that Wolverine?
Yeah, Jez.
Yo, Wolverine, they going Emma mature.
Jez.
Oh man, ripping off heads.
We're about to go down that rabbit hole.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's not go exactly. We're gonna go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, honestly,
about that Wolverine going on there, ripping off heads.
I am gonna switch it over to the state of play because the audience wants to hear it too. Jez, you're not wrong. So
I got him as my desktop.
Yeah. I was excited. Did you guys think we were going to see Wolverine with all the leaks that were coming out, or did you feel like they were going to let us go?
Dude, I did not think we were going to see anything.
I didn't think so, Red. I didn't think so.
But my thing is, guys, like
background,
Tom Henderson has always
something like that, and that was about it.
I was going to say Tom Henderson's always been
freaking awesome.
Like,
say it again,
would
Red?
you guys not agree? Tom Henderson's always been accurate with his leaks.
Yeah,
I don't think there's been a time where
Tom's been pretty accurate. Yeah. Yeah,
he's very credible when it comes because he came from like the Call of Duty scene as far as the leaks and all that, and he's always been on point.
He's usually on point, yeah.
Yeah, like months ago they've been saying Wolverine's ready, and it made sense. Like everything lines up, and it made sense as far as like, okay, yeah, it's time to show this game what's going on. Especially that they changed the creative director, and now that we see the creative, I forgot his name. It's slipping my mind because he's a part of the Resistance.
Lean guy from Spartacus.
Yeah.
Said he was actually from the he's also from Gears, JD Phoenix, but since it was about Kate's story, nobody really remembers that. But he was Marcus Phoenix's son, and he's also in that as well. But I know him from
he
Spartacus.
actually sounds good as Wolverine. I was like,
yeah,
this Wolverine sounds pretty good. It sounds good.
I thought he was the actor from Jedi Survivor. My bad.
He's Spartacus.
No, he's from Spartacus, and he was JD Phoenix, and then
very nice.
He is in what you call it too, in Jedi Survivor. Is he?
I thought he was.
I feel like they've been heavily inspired by. Do you remember the Wolverine movie that was based in Japan?
Yes.
Yes. It gives me major the Wolverine vibes, and also a lot of Logan vibes as well. Like with him being older and
definitely
more gruff.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
They said the setting is going to be the Canadian wilderness, Japan, and I forgot what the other one was.
Madripoor.
Yeah, Madripoor.
I mean, I think you're going to be globetrotting all over, but Madripoor is definitely a very important area for like Wolverine. He's always going to Madripoor, and that I forgot the name of that bar. If they go,
it always makes me think of Star Wars.
That's the bar from the Origins movie. Is it not?
That's not the bar from the Origins movie. That's the bar from the comic books. Like when you go into like Wolverine Pass, that bar been around in Metroport for a long.
Okay, I am definitely not messing with your.
He visits a lot, and they're kind of hinting that he's gonna go back to that bar to like try to figure out like his memories and stuff
he gets
like that.
Information and all that from there.
Okay.
So I think
I
like
forgot
it's gonna
the bartender's name. I forgot her name, that be feeding the information too in the comics, but it's been a while. But my bad.
Yeah, so let me ask this question. A lot of people are saying this. Jez, I'll ask you this question, Jez. What do you think about this? A lot of people are saying that what we saw was still quite early because it's releasing a full year from now, and a lot of people were like, "There still needs to be some polish added to it." What do you think to those comments?
Well, yeah, I think like I'm surprised at how much we saw from a year from now. Like it was like, yo, is this thing ready to come out like early next year? Like we saw so much, like a lot that you would see from a game that's coming out a full year from now and not even have a release date. It's just fall of next year. Definitely. I remember when they showed Spider-Man 2 and that chase scene. Remember the water effects and stuff? It didn't look too hot. With now supposed to that was coming out that year. That when they did the Spider-Man 2 at the end of the State of Play. They polished it up. So no problem with that. I thought it looked very awesome. I thought the animations looked pretty good. Definitely some like they could probably fill in some a little bit smoother animations because you kind of could tell like when the button prompts were doing, like when he was on the hold. And he was like, you could see them definitely hitting the button. It looked a little not as smooth. So I'm sure they could fix those things out. But I think what we saw, the tone of it is crazy. That that dismemberment, the brutality, like they're not holding back, and it reminded me of. It was funny because I was streaming some classic games and I was playing the Wolverine back was on the PS3 and thing like that. The Wolverine, one of the things was made by Activision back then, and that was brutal as well. And this one it's so crazy how they just went all out with this. And what's crazy is they could have got away with it in the sense that you're fighting like cyborgs and stuff, but they're like Terminators. They're basically bio humans with cyborg parts or things like that. So it's not that you're cutting off robot limbs and stuff. Like, so it's all blood and stuff still, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
they're called Ravagers, right, Jay Barry? I'm pretty sure like Ravagers were in the Logan movie as well.
They look like the enemies from Spider-Man. Actually.
Yeah, like I think they're part of the Weapon X people, or they could be like if you guys read the Sentinels comic book line where they had like these human, like Sentinel type group, like it was like 4 of them where they kind of made a whole bunch of them. I don't know where they're gonna go specifically, but having Omega Red there as a tease, that was dope. And then showing Mystique, like having Mystique there, my mind went like, okay, will they meet up with like Magneto as well? Because there's a storyline once again as well, where Mystique is in Madripoor and Magneto is trying to get her back. That storyline's crazy with Wolverine. He's like, nah, get over here.
I think they're gonna set up like, I think everyone kind of knows what a pipeline for Insomniac's supposed to be, but I do think with Wolverine they're gonna set up an X-Men game. So
you can tell by the end of the trailer, they had the Sentinel right there. I was like, okay,
where
you go.
What was that game? Was it on Super Nintendo where you could be Gambit, you could have been Wolverine, you could be Cyclops? What was that X-Men game?
Well, there's a couple of X-Men games. There was Apocalypse Legends, X-Men Legends. That was a thing.
Was that it?
X-Men Super Nintendo.
You talking about the classic,
yes.
like the Sega one?
Was it Sega?
That's I played it. I played on Sega. That was
It was the X-Men arcade game?
He's talking about
Spider-Man X-Men?
It's just the X-Men game. Well, Wolverine, Gambit, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. You talking that one?
No, it's no, because that's the real old school joint, though, isn't it, Jay? There was one that came out after that. Man, they had a lot of them, so it's not fair for me to say that to you guys.
How much they shown of, like, they showed the characters that are going to be in it, and
maybe it was Clone Wars,
and how they operate, like with Spider-Man and stuff. And Insomniac likes to drop, like, they have the side stories, a side mission, maybe a origin story of somebody, things like that. How they operate, like they do.
There's definitely going to be a lot of Easter eggs and cameos in this game.
Yeah. Side missions and again, a year out, and we're going to get more updates early next year or in early 2026. So that they're going to be dripping a lot of a lot of stuff. Like that's why I said we saw a lot for something that's coming out a year from now.
And we're supposed to hear more in spring.
As I said,
no, that's what I was going to say, Red Hood. Like the fact that they put that in there is that the game is coming out in fall, but they let you know in spring we're going to talk to y'all again.
Yes,
get ready.
So wait, Jay Barry, let me ask you this then: do you feel like that's not typically Sony though? Sony usually does what they want to do when they want to do it. Do you think this was they're feeling the pressure from the community, feeling the pressure from the audience, being like, we need to see this now?
I do. I feel like they definitely have their ear to the ground. Where, for me personally, that's one of the biggest criticisms I have. Like, talk to the audience.
Yes.
Let people know what's going on. Like, I understand that your game is gonna come out a year, but that doesn't mean you can't update the audience.
That's right.
Like, one thing I hated that they did with Spider-Man 2, even though I love Spider-Man 2, is that you started promoting that game market roundup like 2 months, 3 months before the game came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Here, you got this trailer. Understandably cool. It's been a long time. But then you're letting people know again, like, hey, we're going to be talking about this game again in spring 2026. The game coming out fall 2026. So that's giving a ample enough time to rev that up, you know what I mean, to get people excited about the game. That's Dev Diaries. I don't know what they're going to do, but showing more gameplay or showing some of the Wolverine mechanics that we already can see a little bit in that trailer. That's what I want from PlayStation, because we experienced that on the PlayStation 4 with their marketing where, we knew God of War was coming out in 2 years or whatever, but you was constantly updating people about God of War.
With gameplay or something like that,
You really need to do that.
think, starting with with like what JC said with Yotei, I think there was that gap, with that when they said no sequels to big games or whatever like that from the Spider-Man 2. There was that kind of like, I don't know if that was the fallout of the service games and all that other stuff that they were trying to do. I know we had Astrobot in there, which we didn't know about too until like a few months before it released. But it seems like, with Ghost of Yotei, the rollout is like show a little bit of it, kind of keep adding more and more. And then you see even with Saros, they said earlier this year they were going to be showing gameplay later this year. They kind of like hinted at that, and that's exactly what we got now. So now they showed Wolverine. They said you'll get an update more about Wolverine early next year. So they seem to be kind of like not just showing it and then just like saying mic drop, we're out of here. We'll figure it out when we're doing it. It seems like the cadence has returned from like the launch, and then there was that gap for a year or so, and then now it seems like they're coming back because they even have the show get into Galactic gameplay, so we knew about that. So it's kind of like it's gonna keep
don't sleep on Intergalactic too, because that was a part of their next marketing push.
Yes, it was on that list.
That's right.
They had Wolverine and Intergalactic there.
So
So
26 is
I know
gonna be
a lot of
crazy,
people
bro.
don't think that Intergalactic might drop in 2026. I feel like it's going to drop in 2026 as well, but we'll see.
It better.
I think it's dropping in 2027 because I think Jason Schreier said
27 maybe.
like Game Awards
come
when
on.
they
When did The
released
Last of
the
Us 2
trailer
come out?
for Witcher 4.
2019.
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
The Last of Us 2 came
2020,
out.
2019,
That would've
20,
been-
yeah.
No,
That would have
2020
been
came out.
7 years.
2020.
All right.
It's crazy.
fair.
Think about that, and then think about what Insomniac has done, dude. It is crazy.
Yeah.
That
The
they're
reason
able to
why
do
the
this.
reason why
Launch
I'm
miles.
saying
It's insane.
2026.
Wait, are you sure
is
it was
because
2020? I'm sure it was 2019.
Yeah, it was the year the PlayStation.
Yeah,
came
20,
out.
it was 2020.
Or
Yeah.
it was literally months before the
And
PS5.
guess what? It also came out. Ghost of Tsushima came out that same year,
Yeah, in July or something like that.
and Yotei's coming out now.
But the only
the reason why
I say-
the reason why I'm saying 2026 though is because
Oh, yeah, it was.
that same marketing push that they saying, right? 2025, they told you these are the next two big games that's coming out for us. Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei. Then the next picture over there was like, here's our next two big games that we're going to be pushing is Wolverine and Intergalactic.
Saros wasn't even on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seems like they have the two big games that's coming out in the year, the same year.
Mhm.
I don't think that they will put that there in that slide as well, with Intergalactic coming out the following year with Wolverine. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see.
See, Jay, I want to agree with you, but like because of that Jason Schreier thing back after Game Awards, him saying Witcher 4, Intergalactic is looking like a 20, both games 2027.
Yeah, and Jason Schreier is pretty credible too, so I'm not denying that either.
I'm just looking at when you have a portfolio that you want to announce and then you want to release.
Crazy,
if you've got Saros and then you have Wolverine, Intergalactic would just make sense to be in 27. Plus, my question that I don't know if you guys are thinking about this, but if we follow the trends, you guys were just all talking about it with 2020 and being The Last of Us Part 2. Let's just talk about this for a minute. Naughty Dog has a way of wrapping up, like they're the curtain closer, right? For like every generation. So if it's 27, do we think 27, the fall holiday of 27, is when we see the PS6? Or no, we're way too early to talk about that.
I don't see any PS6.
I think PS6
I don't see anything. I don't see games.
20,
No. Listen, no. I'm not here. I'm not here to talk about the hardware, Jez. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Do you think Naughty Dog's gonna? They've done that now. They did it with the PS3. They did it with the PS4. Now, will they do it? I'm asking you if Intergalactic's 27 and you guys are all agreeing with it. I'm saying, does that trend continue?
I think it's either late 2027. It's either late 2027 or late 2028. Like I still lean towards 2028.
I don't think it'll be
and the
that
reason
long. Yeah.
when it comes to Intergalactic as well is like you kind of notice the trend now that it feels like PlayStation wants to put out two big games per year.
A year,
right?
yeah.
And it looks like this year was the two big games for PlayStation. Whether or not you want to agree with it or disagree with it, was Death Stranding 2 as well as Ghost of Yotei. Right, so the next two big games would be Saros and Wolverine. Right, and then
That's so bad
whatever
as well, though.
Mhm.
I think maybe it's the case that Death Stranding 2 was a second party title, right? So maybe they have two first party big games, i.e.
Well, they got Marvel Token too.
Astrobot and
they don't look at Death Stranding as a second party.
Because they front the bill. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
they front the whole bill for that
studios
game
as well next year. So that's 3 first party. That's 3 from their studios, right?
But yeah,
Marvel,
but I do think that
game.
maybe they focus on in-house first party studio games, two major releases, and then the rest is carried by second and third party deals. No different to like Helldivers 2 is second party. Death Stranding,
Hero Down Under,
Helldivers is a first party game. That's an owned game by
but it's second party. It's a first party IP, but it's a second party. It's a second party game because it's developed by a third party studio. And that's what I'm saying is that they're carried by second and third party deals, and they have 2 major first party releases a year. So I'm pretty much agreeing.
Using your logic though, Wooly.
Yeah.
Before they owned Insomniac, what do you look at Resistance and the Ratchet and Clank games as? First party or second party?
Oh, they were first party IP, but they were second party games.
If he keeps that logic like that,
VR2 games. Anyway,
they were second party.
Back to Wolverine.
I mean, what Wooly is saying is correct, but PlayStation thinks very differently, though.
Yeah.
Foot body.
No, but all I'm saying is I'm just saying there was two major first party IPs released. Two major first party studio games released this year: Astrobot and Ghost of Yotei. Death Stranding 2 is not a first party studio game. It's a first party game because it's not even owned by PlayStation anymore.
Well, it used to be owned, but they gave it back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a second party IP. But what I'm saying is that it would make sense. What you're saying is correct, because if you take Astrobot and Yotei as the first in-house studio games this year, then the rest are deals made with third-party studios to create either second-party or third-party exclusives. If they got SOCOM to be developed by Arrowhead or by Arc System, what are they called? Arc System Works. Like they could create a SOCOM game. It would be awesome, and that would be a second party game. It's the first party IP developed by a third party studio. That's all I'm saying.
I think Willie.
I get what you're saying, but second party is just pretty much like a Stellar Blade. It's a marketing is a contracted deal.
Yeah, that's generally how I thought about it too.
That's not true, bro. That's a third party exclusive. That's a
second party exclusive. A third party exclusive would be something like when Rebirth came out. That's not a deal. That's just Square Enix like, okay, we're focusing here.
I know Herman said there's only one tentpole game, and we're getting 2 or maybe 3 next year. So Herman's a liar.
Poor Herman, man. You're hard on him there, Jazz. You're always rough on that dude.
He said one tentpole game a year, and then that guy's like, oh yeah, Wolverine Saros next year. Oh, and Marvel token.
Herman been a lot. Herman been
the wrong teleprompter.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah, Eric, the producer, has chimed in to me on Twitter. He's correcting you, I think. He says Astrobot released in 2024, Wooly.
Oh, flipping that, bro.
Yeah, last year.
That's mad. Oh my days, where is time gone?
Well, don't. That's why he's Eric. He's Eric. That's why he's Eric. Yeah, he's Eric, the producer. He knows what he's doing. Shout out to Eric. Shout out. What did you guys think? So listen, let's talk about this. So we can definitely talk about Wolverine more, but I do want to talk about the speakers. You guys, everyone's making fun of them. They showed speakers. They showed hardware.
No, those things are fire, man. So first off, when I saw those speakers, I was like. First of all, I thought it was an air freshener.
I like them.
When they showed the first one, I'm like, what the hell is this? An air purifier from Sony? What the hell is going on? And then they showed the second one. I was like, 2 air purifiers.
Nice.
But no, dude, having wireless speakers like that go through the link and also Bluetooth and can angle up with Atmos and planar speakers, dude, they're going to be sharp. Like, they're going to have that kind of mid to high range sound. I want to see how much rumble they have. I think that does have a little,
it says the subwoofer is built in.
Subwoofer in there too, because it's going to need that.
The question I have though, Jez, is the chat. They say they have a microphone in there with noise canceling. I have yet to find these types of things that work like that, where you can actually play the game and you're not hearing my speakers going off like mad in your headset.
Mooch, the Pulse Explorers, the earbuds, and actually the other ones, the Elite, the Pulse Elites.
I have the Elites. I don't have the earbuds.
Chips, and it doesn't pick up potato chips. Like I watched review. I've done.
Yeah, I don't know that. I saw that
myself.
Oh yeah. The Explorers, like noise canceling is really good.
Yeah, like it will. You could be eating chips and nobody hears them.
Yeah, people wouldn't even know I'm outside.
So, like, if they have that in those speakers, like that's pretty damn awesome. Like, you could talk to them. I thought that was crazy. What really got me at first, I was like, oh, just speakers and stuff. But then when you could hook it up to the portal, like that's through the link, so it's not Bluetooth delayed.
Yeah,
like you now could kind of have like this surround sound type thing with your portal.
I liked it because you can, especially I have the way I have set up the gaming setup in the office here. I have the PS5 Pro right here, right next to the PC. So now you just take the dongle and you can just take it out, put it into your PC if you want to, and just play your PC games on speaker instantly.
Charge the wireless.
The only criticism,
you take them with you.
Oh, that's right.
The only criticism I have for the speakers, because I'm interested in them, because I mainly play on my like my desk, and I use my monitors and I have my speakers there. But they should have let it be known if this speaker also supports Bluetooth, because the PlayStation
they had the phone on it.
Oh, they did.
It does.
Because
yeah,
the PlayStation Link is great. It's great. I love it, but that's going to be a lot of dongles that you got to be. Hey, let me plug this.
Well, you got the PlayStation Link dongle, that thing, and then that one that will connect it, but it also does Bluetooth as well, and they're wireless. So like they have those
that's why I want wireless
things. They charge the angle up. Now the thing is, I was saying, oh, they'll be incredible for 200. I bet you those things come in at 350, and
they're gonna be expensive.
That's where it's going. That's where they're going to get killed if it costs too much like that, because you can get those type of speakers. Probably cheaper.
The only thing I'm thinking is that if they're the Pulse branding, that's usually kind of like their gaming brand. If it was the other ones where they do the PC one, which is the the H9 and things like that, those are usually come up more expensive. Because those new ones, 350, the second version of the H9s, but the speakers, the Pulse ones come in at pretty good prices. Even though the Pulse Explorers are a little, the Elites are that's a great price for those for plain out drivers. But then the Pulse Explorers, they're not bad too, and they're kind of one of the only, besides the Steel Series ones, they're kind of the only ones that could do dual Bluetooth and gaming at the same time. So that's really cool. Like you listen to the Mooch podcast, and you could listen to this podcast while playing a game with those earbuds, which I like to do it with those. But yeah, these things are pretty cool, man. And I really the Link technology is good, because the only problem I have with the Link, before I say the good thing about it, I can't believe that they did not just put that Link inside the Pro.
Yeah, I know.
You still need a dumb dongle. And the other problem is that dongles are not USB-Cs, so their dongle has to use the USB-A. You got to use the USB-C in the back of the Pro, because the Pro doesn't have a USB-A in the front. I couldn't believe that they didn't put the Link technology built into it.
Yeah, that's a fail. That's a fail that it's not USB-C, and it's a fail that it's still the dongle. I really don't understand.
That's another thing. But and also too, they did add this software update. I got it on my Pulses, where now you could control the features of the Pulse on the PC with that dongle. So that means that these things probably are going to have some cool customization to do when you plug it into a PC as well. But it's so cool if it works. I got to see how they do. But if you could have these things next to your PC or near your gaming setup, and then you could just kind of pull them off and take them to another room, and you got like stereo Atmos.
You can, because those things they're sitting on are just charge stations.
Yeah, the charge stations angles them up. So yeah, I do think it would be. I think they're pretty damn cool. It depends on what the price is. Like I say, like 200, 250. We're looking pretty good at stereo speakers, because Bluetooth speaker by itself is like $100. If you get a decent one, these are planar driver ones, so they're gonna be up there. So hopefully, I don't know, and I don't even know, man. Again, I haven't heard of speakers having planar drivers. I know headphones but I'm not too familiar with which ones have, and that's just I'm
and
not
you
sure.
can, and like
I'm
you
sure
said,
they
you can
exist.
and you can link up through Bluetooth your phone. So if you get a phone call in the middle of a game, you can take the call.
Oh my god, 150 would be crazy. Well, yeah, you could do that too, but yeah, it does do Bluetooth. So
that's
you
cool.
know, maybe you could just take one of them and use it as a Bluetooth. I love devices that have multi-purpose.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, I want it to be able to do everything,
really,
the whole gambit. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that you could use it on a PC, you could bring it to your gaming room, you could bring it up to the bedroom and play on a Portal. And
well, that was pretty cool, right? So the Portal has that link built in, so you just go ahead and you're playing on Portal. You have that there. Now all of a sudden you're not stuck with headphones on. I know that when I say this, I think I'm talking to a small group of people in the audience because I know the panel. You guys, like, we use headphones all day long, right? I listen to headphones for music. You listen to headphones for this. Maybe you even use headphones for work. Then when we podcast, we're headphones, and I've had these headphones on now for going on 4 hours. Like then all of a sudden it's like, hey Mooch, we gaming, and it's like I game, and then I go grab my Astro A50s and I put my headphones on. There's a time where if I'm not gaming with friends and I don't need the microphone. That's why a lot of times I'll jam out and want to be in the family room and just relax and use surround sound. I don't want to have headphones on all the time if I'm not talking to friends. So if I'm just jamming out, or you're grinding in a game and you're leveling up or whatever, I'd love to have those wireless speakers in the office here, and then just be able to enjoy the PlayStation or enjoy the PC with that. That's to me, that's you know. And so I already have one of those dongles.
I can't wait for the comparisons of this speakers and the $50 Bluetooth phone.
Oh, of course, right, Jay? The $50 ones.
The PlayStation haters that love.
Jamar, did you see that TikTok of the guy? It's like when you get your earbuds from a dollar store, and it's like, oh, look that up. It's hilarious. It's like they play the background, and then the guy comes in. He's like, he's like screeching for the vocals. It's pretty funny.
Oh man, yeah. Jay just sent that chart, and I had seen this chart, but damn that. So it says upcoming, and it does have Ghost. So it has Ghost and Death Stranding 2 on FY25, and then upcoming it says Intergalactic. So it says upcoming. So that could be. And don't forget their fiscal year. I don't know if this is the fiscal year we go by, Jay, or this is the fiscal year that Sony goes by. They have a different fiscal year that they go by. So Intergalactic could very easily leak into 27, maybe early part of 27.
Is currently in their second. They're going into their third. The fourth is their fourth quarter is like, I think it ends like around like April or something like that. Or March.
And March is when their fourth quarter of FY25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiscal year.
Okay. So then it would be forward. So your point's valid then, Jay.
Yeah, and one thing, like Mooch, you're saying about the headphones, like when you talking about sitting back and playing, a different experience. And I'm going to tell you right now, I said this on my show, the baby steps.
Yes.
Don't use headphones on it, because playing that game is a better experience with the speaker coming out of the controller, because you actually hear the steps, and the adaptive triggers go with, like, when you're walking in mud, you feel it and you hear it coming directly from the speaker, and it actually is. It's a more of a tactile, and it's better for doing that. But that speaker now it got the update. It's very loud, so like it is almost another dimension when you play with speakers on the TV, and then you got that speaker emitting some sounds and stuff from the controller when it works. It's pretty awesome, because it's like, and I remember even doing it with Horizon. Like when you shoot an arrow, you feel it. And you hear it go from the speaker on the controller to the TV.
Yeah, and your examples are better, but I was just recently playing Sword of the Sea, and that actually was coming through unbelievable. And the sound effects that they put through the DualSense.
Sword of the Sea is a great example.
Right?
Like that.
I thought that was a really good usage of the DualSense as well. The speaker on that. Mm-hmm. That's it's funny. Remember, we go back to 2020. Jay, you remember that's just a gimmick.
Yo, play Astrobot with it.
That's not a gimmick, buddy.
Like when these developers really like take full advantage of the DualSense, it definitely like enhances the experience. Like,
there's
I know a
no
lot of people
doubt.
don't like to lean and talk about that stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I think you don't like talking about controllers.
I think it should be discussed
what about
even
the
more.
WSDA buttons.
Yeah,
that's thing that he wants to talk about. PC.
He wants to talk about Shift Alt Delete.
You had 2 hours of Xbox talk. It's PlayStation time. Sit, yo.
He's like, what happened?
That singer,
not fucking speakers, my guy.
that singer's like, come on.
The speakers were a part of the state of play.
He's like,
and a God of War controller.
He said that singer wants to talk about Control Alt Delete. All right, listen, I can't right now. I can't. That was too good. Shout out to Glinzer. He says Capcom set for a super strong 2026 with RE9, Pragmata, Onimusha, and Monster Hunter Stories 3. Yeah.
Right.
Yo.
I agree, but you know what? I'm going to give you guys a hot take. A lot of people are probably not going to like
what do you got, Red?
I like the first two trailers for Pragmata. That last trailer I saw.
Too.
Yeah.
The shooting mechanics, I'm not digging whatsoever. I think the dodging
I ain't seen the last trailer yet.
I think dodging looks good, like fluid, but it just feels spongy, like the shooting. And I'm fine with the puzzles. I'm also fine with the puzzles, by the way.
I had no interest in Pragmata until I saw like their latest, not the latest trailer you talking about, but
you're talking about the second one.
Yeah, I was like, yo, this game looks amazing, bro. I'm in here, but I'm gonna watch.
But some people might dig it, but for me, and then hearing like the banter, I'm not digging either. Onimusha, I'm there. I saw like more gameplay of it. I'm like,
it's so good.
Just real quick here to bring this up. Death Singer put this in the chat before the show started, and he said we got to talk about this. We could talk about it as far as game of the year if you guys want to. Or I'm having a struggle here, fellas. I'm still finishing up Mafia because I was away for a lot of August. You know, we took a couple weeks off from the show. I was away, so I really didn't get a lot of gaming time in August at all. So I lost that, right? And that was when I left right when Mafia was kind of coming out. So I'm still finishing up Mafia. I have Chronos. I haven't even started it yet. I have Dying Light Beast. I haven't even started it yet.
That's a good game, Mooch.
You know, it's a damn good game.
That game is good.
It's a damn good game from what I'm hearing.
Like, if you like the first game,
I did.
It definitely rectifies the second game because I know a lot of people didn't like the second game. I did drop the second game. I'm not gonna lie.
I dropped the second one too.
I dropped. First one. The first one I beat. The second one I probably I have a lot of hours into it. I probably got halfway through and then I dropped it. I heard that Beast they fixed with. They went back to the original and fixed that up.
Yeah.
Blessed Red says Chronos is mid. I've been hearing that Chronos is not going to make my top. Like, of the games I got to play right now, that's not making the top, but I got it and I want to play it.
It's not too bad. I've been playing it. It's all right. So far, I haven't really gotten to the enemies. They look like they ripped out of the Tyrant out of Resident Evil. Like so far, like they're all the same. Like
Yeah.
Can't do Dead Space again. Like Dead Space outdid Dead Space.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Dead Space.
Well, there was Dead Space, right? And then we just I didn't platinum it, but I beat what is it there? The Protocol. Calypso Protocol.
Which, everybody's trying to do Dead Space again,
right? It's like stop. We just played a game like that, so that's not. But guys, just as soon as before I even could finish this sentence, oh yeah, Silent Hill F is out, and I gotta play that. Like I gotta play Silent Hill, right? So I'm not gonna not play that game. So
and it's a slow burn too, so it's like. Man, that's what I heard.
And then the minute I was talking about this on Twitter, online, whatever, all the Hades 2 reviews drop. I'm like, fuck. I don't have any.
And then you say next.
Well, then we got Battlefield 6, right?
I'm gone after that, yo.
Oh, Battlefield 6 is heat. I like that last trailer.
Battlefield 6 comes out, yo. Going to war.
I gotta start mooching, bro.
Who you telling?
I'm gonna change my name to C4. That's what I'm doing. I'm knocking down everything. I'm gonna see what every building that comes down is gonna be me. Maybe a trophy.
I need the money now.
Shout out to Danelle Brown. He says 3-hour shows now. I see. That's because I blame all the guys from England for that one. These guys can talk. Let me tell you something. I don't know. Are there a lot of English like talk shows? Because you guys can talk.
I ain't said shit.
That's kind of crazy.
Yo, Death Singer, you're the best, dude. Death Singer is the best. Period.
I would never. I don't know who said it, but when Wooly and Death Singer go back and forth, somebody in the chat, one of your shows said T fight. I lost it, dude. I don't know who said it.
No, Death Singer. That's fair.
On it, bro.
Shout out to Death.
Gets off on it.
Shout out to Death Singer real quick because he's right. This show, Death Singer was a little bit more quiet, but Death Singer, you've owned the airways for like the 3 of the last 4 weeks. So I'm gonna say,
hey, Mooch,
he is owned the airways.
This is gonna be your most liked podcast this episode because Death Singer ain't seen.
Yeah,
shit
Death
yet,
Singer.
so,
Let's see. Yeah, the chat.
Now that's hate. Holy.
No,
it is hate because it's like obviously Barry.
I want to expose Death Singer real quick, man, because
let's go.
I don't get Death Singer, man. He's just all over the place. Okay,
how's that?
This man was watching State of Play, I'm looking at his timeline. He's giving out updates and everything. Oh my God, Deus Ex, wow. Oh my God, Sonic Racing, wow. Oh my God, Wolverine looks. Oh my God, wow. Oh my God.
Here
then
comes
the next tweet. State of Play is mid 5 out of 10.
Well, I will say for Death Singer in his because he goes to my Discord sometimes. How he grades it is like games that
he'll play.
Like he'll not he'll play. It's more so like if you like that makes him invest in the console if it's a system exclusive.
Nothing will make him invest in the console, bro.
Someone who actually knows me.
Okay,
but look for a while. That's how he's been grading stuff lately.
No,
so.
but this is where you gotta call it. This is where you gotta call his BS because a lot of those games that's announced is going to be on PC. You know what I mean? So that's because it's. All right, we got Wolverine and Saros like the true exclusives on there for the time being. Everything else on PC, still 5 out of 10 mid. Then he had the audacity to be like, Microsoft Xbox Tokyo Game Show, 7 out of 10. Did you see that Tokyo Game Show? They showed old trailers, old games from updates of to let you know, hey, it's coming on the Xbox 2, and then a teaser trailer of Forza Horizon, 7 out of 10. You thought that Xbox Tokyo Game Show was better than the State of Play?
I did. Yep, I did. And the thing is,
so why you ain't update everybody like you did State of Play?
Because I completely missed it. I had to watch it back. I forgot they were having a Tokyo Game Show.
It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Phil Spencer waking up.
No, but
he on a different time. He's in a different time zone.
I'm sleeping. I'm probably sleeping in the middle of...
Also bear in mind, it's like, when I look at the State of Play, see, this is how I graded it, and Red Hood knows this, and anyone who listens to Guns Curse knows this. It's like...
We just know you, bro.
What games am I going to play? You have to sell me on your games, right? And I'm like, as I said on Twitter, Wolverine looks absolutely amazing. Am I going to play that game? No. Saros looks fantastic. Am I going to play that game?
You don't have a PlayStation 5.
No, I'm not interested in those games. But then when I look through the Tokyo Game Show, I'm like, okay, well, we take it at first value. 007 doesn't count because we've already seen that. Ninja Gaiden 4 doesn't count. We've already seen that, and I'm going to play it. But then I'm like, Monster Story Hunters 3 gets an announcement, which I like. Flight Sim, fuck that game. And then Gungrave looks kind of okay, but whatever. Age of Mythology, whatever. Okay, see, I'm going through Xbox Showcase saying you whatever. Dragon Quest, that's coming to Xbox. Fantastic, whatever. Doesn't care. I've already got it on PC.
You know, majority of what you just listed were at previous State of Plays, right?
Yeah, I know. But
those State of Plays are mid too. But now all of a sudden on the Xbox shows, it's like, whoa, what? Monster Hunter 3 stories? Wow. Gungrave? Wow.
No, here's the thing, Barry. Though, what the games you're not counting are the new releases. Mistfall Hunter, which is a action RPG, that's releasing later this year. That got announced. Project Evil Bane, whatever that's gonna be, which is a 4-player co-op action RPG. That got announced. Didn't know that existed. So that's 2 brand new game announcements. Okay, cool. And then Sudden Strike 5, which is an RTS game. That's coming out in 2026. Super hyped for that. So that's 3 games now that new announcements. And then when I look at the State of Play, I'm like, okay, what games am I going to play from the State of Play? Deus Ex, that's a super old game, but everyone should go play it. Neo 3, we already knew that. I'm going to play it. Then Zero Paradise, the guys from Disco Elysium, the Disco Elysium game. By the way, that game is going to be fire, but it's going to be bad on PlayStation.
We tied up now with the Tokyo Game Show. Continue.
No, new announcements. Zero pages is
Oh,
a new
so now with
announcement.
new announcement, it's not the games that you will play no more. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Either way, but they games I already know about.
What is your stance? What is your stance on the score? New games or the games that you will play?
Yeah, I thought you said there was games that interested you to play, Death Singer.
New games and the games I'll play because everyone knows I'd play, like, for example, Crimson Desert. Everyone knows Final Fantasy Tactics. Played the original.
Everyone knows if it's
that's a lot of games that were shown that you will play on Death Singer.
But if you notice,
surprisingly, the platform that you don't have, you won't play those games. I'm pretty sure when they go to PC,
Barry, I have to call you on it though, because the only 3 games I highlighted from the Xbox show, the only 3 I just highlighted were brand new game announcements. None of the games I just highlighted have been previously announced before. All I gave you was 3 games that are brand new announcements, right? So now I go to the PlayStation show. Where's the brand new announcements for me that I want to play? They showed me 3 RPGs.
The brand new announcements, and you put sleeping emojis.
They showed Wolverine that I'm not going to play, and they showed So
what about Wolverine that you're not going to play? What turns you up about the game?
Yeah,
I just don't play superhero games like that anymore. I didn't play Spider-Man. I mean, the last time I played a superhero game, that's
my guy.
Yeah, but
he needs to play the girls and the thongs that the size of ants.
You played Marvel Rivals,
Eternal, but you won't play Saros. You'll play Doom Eternal, but you won't play Saros. I'm trying to understand, like, what is it about Neo 3 that you're going to play?
No, he said Doom Eternal.
I like Doom, but Doom is completely different.
He needs Wolverine running around in a thong with mod.
It's not the same thing.
Needs thongs.
It has bullet hell mechanics. It's fast twitch. It's all about, it plays very, very very
What about Age of Mythology 2.5.1? Whatever.
I played Doom Eternal and I've played Returnal, and they both play similar.
What about that? What about was it Epoch? What's that game that came out? They're saying is coming to PS.
Well, the thing is that's a great PC game that was released. Like, it's coming to consoles finally. So hopefully people go support it, because I mean it's fallen off a bit now, but that's because they other stuff has come out, and it's like 1.5 years old now. But when it comes to
they showed Arc Raiders, right? Nobody was showing Arc Raiders, right? Isn't that coming out too? Nobody showed it.
Was nice, but my highlight from PlayStation State of Play was Deus Ex Remastered and Dynasty Warriors 3 Remastered, because Dynasty Warriors 3 is a fantastic game on the PS2. Shout out to the old Dynasty Warriors.
You do like the old games that's being shown. You don't need us new games.
No, I just only want games that I'm interested in playing. I'm not going to force myself to play a game I don't want to play. It's like the only 3 games that I got.
Do you think them remastering Deus Ex that they may be doing a new Deus Ex? Or Tencent really will embrace it, whoever killed it?
I don't think they'll do a new Deus Ex.
They canceled it, didn't they?
I really wish they would, but the thing is, if they make a new Deus Ex, it's not going to be the same as
I don't remember them saying they canceled anything.
So a Tencent closed the studio that made it, or the IP that Amazon.
No. I thought they're owned by Embracer.
They are Embracer. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're owned by Embracer. Yeah, and it got cancelled.
Deus Ex.
The thing is that they should, and you should go out and support the remaster of Deus Ex, because if you claim you're into RPGs, then you need to play Deus Ex.
Who's remastering it again? I forgot.
Aspyr, which gives me cause to concern.
Same people supposed to be doing Star Wars.
They got removed off Star Wars. Saber Interactive is doing that now for KOTOR.
That's right.
Thank God.
Were you interested in Assassin's Creed Shadows, Death Singer?
Wait, didn't Saber Interactive just get removed them but went independent? No, I'm sorry. It was the other group that broke away from it. Oh shit, who Twisted Voxel? No, what the hell is it? Shit.
I did have interest in AC Shadows, but then I dropped it because
somebody just broke off.
So
what is it about Yotei that you're not interested in?
I'll just wait for it to come to PC, which I'll inevitably do in a year's time.
You knew that was the answer, Wooly. T-fight.
T-fight.
Anyway,
so you are interested in it. You're just waiting for it to come to PC. But you are interested in it.
I'm interested in it, but I'm not interested in it enough to go out and get a console.
Breakfast tea.
It's not a must play for me. I'll play it when it comes around.
I can understand that because there's certain must plays for me for like Death Stranding 2, whereas Ghost, like I know people are super excited. It's like one of those games that either I'll get it day one or later down the line.
Which one?
At that point,
which one, Red?
Ghost.
Oh,
I'm
Ghost.
kind of the same way. Like I'm not too like crazy, but like when games like Wolverine, day one, right? For me to buy on PlayStation or another Kojima game like Fizzin, right?
Right.
For PS6. Day one, right?
You're like me. You're a huge Kojima fan.
Yeah, exactly. But where Sucker Punch, I'm not the greatest like diehard Sucker Punch fan.
Yeah,
so.
I get that. That's fair.
The thing is, anyway, back to the state of play and the Xbox show. The reason I gave it best score is because they just showed more games that I'm actually going to play. Because, you could show me all the games you want, but if I'm not going to play any of your games, what the fucking point of your show for me? So, of course, Xbox. And bear in mind, I gave PlayStation a 5. I gave Xbox only a 7. I only gave them 2 points for 3 brand new game announcements.
The 2 point differential, Deathsinger, you make is a great point, but the only problem is the 2 point differential starts. So you gave PlayStation such a low score that it's like if you were like I gave PlayStation a 6.5 or a 7, and the other one a 7.5 or an 8 because that's what I play. I got you. But like I said when we were before the show started, I said a 5 when we're talking about a game rating. Games, right? Not you're rating a show. A 5 would mean the game is broken, right? Or there's severe problems with the. I think even
mediocre.
Right? Mediocre at best. And 5 is very low. That's very low. So even if you don't want to play all those games, you still, as a gamer, you look at it, you go, like I said on the Xbox showcase that was this past summer, a lot of the games they showed didn't interest me, but it was a good show. I was like, that's a good show. They put together something that was entertaining, and I could see the games are going to hit a wide variety of the audience. A couple of games interested me. I gave it a good rating. Like, I can't sit there and say just because I don't want to play the games that if you see good games, they're still good games. Like I thought they showed good games at the PlayStation showcase. I didn't think it was that bad.
Then again, I grade it on as I've kept this. This has been the same thing for years. I have the videotapes. If you want to go bar for bar, I'll go bar for bar and I'll body the living crap out of you. So don't do it. Because Luca has all the tapes. I can come around to every single E3 time show and you'll see the same exact shit. But the thing is, it's like, I grade them on what I'm going to play. Me personally.
Which automatically puts PlayStation showcases at a disadvantage.
That's what I said. Wooly, that's what I said. I said so.
That's exactly what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, Wooly.
You don't have the console.
That's singer, but that really the highest you're ever going to go with that model, the highest you'll ever give PlayStation is a 7. Like that's the highest it'll ever get.
No, it won't. No, it won't, because I gave him an 8 for the Lost Soul Aside state of play. So don't do that.
You gave it an 8 for the Lost Soul Aside?
Yeah, when they announced Lost Soul Aside, because like
it would have been a 5 if Lost Soul Aside was not on PC.
Right.
I mean,
that's where we're trying to go with this conversation.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're trying to pull out from you. We trust you. You don't got to explain. We understand.
We got you.
We understand.
Yeah, we know you, bro.
Barry, as I said to you on Twitter, you need to go tell your boys over at PlayStation to start making some games that I actually like.
You got it.
No, bro, you're always gonna create an excuse of what, because they can show you everything that you want to play. You will never get the console because you're gonna be like, it's coming to PC.
No.
Okay, wait. Can I say this? I think what Def wants is more CRPGs, RPGs, and PlayStation doesn't really like. We got to be honest. They don't make RPGs like that. It is what it is.
They see, thank you. See, RPG. I've said it multiple times. I don't know why people don't get it. RPG is my number one genre. PlayStation doesn't make them. So why am I going to go?
But aren't there a lot of RPGs from Japanese developers that are solely available on the PlayStation?
But they also come to PC. It's like look at Los Solar Side come to PC.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I get that he likes a certain genre. Get it? Don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. But even if PlayStation was to do it, he would not buy into no PlayStation. He'd just say what he just said just now.
I would wait. I would disagree because Death Singer, I will give him credit. When Persona 5, like Royal came to PlayStation 4, he bought a PlayStation 4 for the game.
Thank you very much.
It didn't come to PC. So he does. Like it's just certain games. I guarantee you that if let's say Naughty Dog, which I actually
10 years ago, brother.
Wait, and I will give and I will say this. I guarantee if Naughty Dog, let's say they made a Western RPG, that thing would probably get it.
Yes, I would.
And it looked good.
No.
See,
and honestly, I wouldn't mind Naughty Dog to make a Western RPG after Intergalactic. Honestly, I'll be down for that.
This is definitely the difference between people who know me and people who don't know me. And it's like the thing is if they only created RPGs, I would be down with PlayStation, but they don't create my genre of games. They create what they create, which are great games. But unfortunately, like Obsidian makes the kind of games I like. In Exile, like CD Projekt Red, these people make the type of games I like. So, of course, I'm going to gravitate to them. And, well, who shows off more RPGs? Avowed. We have Outer Worlds 2. We have Fable.
To your credit, to your credit, Death Singer, I have been thoroughly underwhelmed with the Horizon franchise, whereas a lot of people rate them, and they even call it an action RPG. And I think the RPG mechanics in the Horizon games are absolutely pitiful, and it's barely an action RPG.
You would consider it a light RPG in reality.
Yeah, I would consider it an anemic light RPG.
Yeah,
it's the funny thing, Wally. I called Horizon barely an RPG, and I got completely destroyed for it.
I completely agree with you.
I was actually correct. Like, people go, well, they did make an RPG, Horizon. Yeah, but have you played other RPGs and then looked at Horizon and gone, wow, this is...
Yeah, no, it's an insult to RPGs to call that an RPG. Right. I mean, so, Dragon Age is an action RPG. That is not an action RPG.
Horizon is an RPG. Let's knock it off.
I was waiting for Jay to come in.
So here's the thing.
I mainly play RPG. I'm letting you know.
If they actually made RPGs, like I'd be so down with them. But it's like the only people giving me RPGs is either Xbox first party or third party. So I have to be down wherever they give me what I want. So hopefully PlayStation eventually decides to make an RPG. Hopefully. I mean, one can hope, or they won't, and it'll just be what it's going to be. So,
you're still a PCMR Gooner. It's fine. Don't worry.
So let me ask this question here. First of all, shout out to Danelle Browning. Says, wow, 3-hour shows. Now I see. Shout out to Danelle again. Babor says, look at Death Stranding 2 credits, most size. He's going, when we were talking about AAA, AA, and how not AA, pardon me, second party. He said, look at Death Stranding 2 credits, most are size of going by the size of the employee list. I think I'm not sure, Babor. I apologize. I'm not following you on that. But shout out also to Gaming Ledger. He says, my earlier message was actually Sony pivoting Nixus into dev support for first party, not just porting. They helped Saros. Sorry for the misunderstanding. No problem. I got you, Ledger. I think Red
what he was
explained
saying
that.
was like just like co-develop. I mean, Ben Studio is also kind of like a support studio.
Basically, X7 and Visual Arts. That's what he's saying.
No.
They're turning into X7 Visual Arts
because they're not having many PC ports like coming out. Like, there's only just a couple left. Like for the PS5 generation, GT7, Demon Souls, and Astrobot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever comes out next, right? Like Wolverine and stuff like that. But right now, with not many games, like they're gonna have to do something. So it makes sense to have them, help support.
I tweeted about this earlier today that it's really good to see Nixus turning into a support studio akin to Visual Arts or oh my days! I just said them 2 minutes ago, and I've got a brain fart. You've got Visual Arts, and also what's the other support studio? Oh, XDev and XDev. So Nixus are becoming kind of akin to XDev now, where they're working alongside studios on games, which will give them more experience.
We don't give a damn about them.
Hey, dog. I kind of do. Okay.
Can't cancel Nix's PlayStation.
Absolutely not. PlayStation.
Bring back Concord, bro.
PlayStation. I gave you guys a lot of money for PS1 through 4. Do not listen to Jay Barry.
I want Concord back.
It would be the best thing for y'all to do.
No, don't listen to him.
Trade Nixus, you want me to Concord, bro. Bring Concord back.
You want me to buy 2 copies, right? PlayStation. Listen to me.
Listen to Red, everybody. Actually, speaking of that, Red, we got to get you on the show earlier too, because I want to get more takes from you. We had quite an hour and a half in the beginning of the show that was phenomenal. But I do want to get Red back on the show. I think the guys on the panel could probably go for another 3 hours. I know for a fact Wooly and Deathinger can.
No, they can't.
Deathinger.
Do you want to quickly cross over Game of the Year real quick?
I don't think there's a such thing as a real quick when you and Wooly are on the same panel. There is no such thing as a real quick.
There is a real quick.
All right, go ahead.
The thing is, now the competition is so tough. A lot of these games that 90 rated are going to get snubbed, right?
Okay.
Because Hades 2 came out and it's 94, and then you have Hollow Knight, which is 92. Then you have Expedition 33. Then you have Blueprints. Then you have Split Fiction. Then you have Donkey Kong. Then you have Trails in the Sky. That's going to get snubbed because it's too niche. But all of these are 90 rated games, right? Okay, and then you go down the list. You have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Then you have technically Monster Hunter Wilds. Then you have Final Fantasy Tactics, got a really good score. Not going to get nominated. Then you have Ghost of Yotei. Then you have Death Stranding 2. And now you have to pick 6. And there's a choice of like 15 or 16 games. And I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will get snubbed. I also think Ghost of Yotei or Death Stranding, one of them's going to get snubbed. I don't think
I think Ghost is getting snubbed. I'll say that for a fact.
I think one of those two is getting snubbed. Hollow Knight might get snubbed, but Hades 2 will probably get snubbed. Split Fiction.
No, I don't think Hades. I don't think Hades 2 is definitely going to be there.
Oh, you think Hades 2 is going to be there?
Yeah. I said Hades 2, Split Fiction, Expedition 33. That's like 3 right there. I said Death Stranding 2. That's 4. What was my 5th game that I said? It's gonna either be Donkey Kong Bonanza or Hollow Knight. One of the. But the problem is because people will make the argument Hollow Knight, Silk Song is like an expansion spin-off game or whatever. But Shadow of Erdtree, defied what the Game of the Year nominees are. So I wouldn't be shocked if Hollow Knight would be on there.
Was the original Hades nominated? Did it win?
I think it was nominated.
It was nominated.
Okay, it was nominated.
I thought Hades won it.
I thought it won too. But
no, I think BAFTAs it won, but I don't think it won like Best Show.
Yeah, so it's like this year.
So who's gonna get snubbed then? Who's your snub list?
Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Silk Song, or Hades 2. Well, one of those two. Both of them can't be there, and Death Stranding and Ghost can't both be there. There just isn't enough room.
There's definitely going to be one small game in there. So
in
the small game department, you're going to have Hades, Blueprints, Split Fiction, and Hollow Knight. One of those games is going to be there.
I think Split Fiction is not in the cards. He just won the other year with Takes Two, so I think that Split Fiction won't be there. There's too many.
Oh, they could change it up. It might be two. Might be two.
Because didn't Miyazaki win like 2 Game of the Year awards, or am I bugging? Because didn't he win Sekiro and Elden Ring?
But they were 2 years apart.
They were apart from each other. Well, this one's 2 years apart too.
Yeah,
for Joseph Fares, I mean.
It's definitely going to be an interesting one when it comes to the nominees for sure, because there's a lot of great games that came out this year.
We all agree. We all agree. Expedition 33 is getting a nominee, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. We all said that.
Yeah, that's currently my game.
So let me ready. Here's a. And I'm not saying it because it's on screen. There was a lot of talk about it. A lot in the media going. Borderlands 4 gets a nominee or no?
No way. No way. No way. Not a chance. Not this year. Absolutely not.
Okay, I just
stiff of competition.
Borderlands 4 nominee for Game of the Year or just nominee in general? Like
no game of the year.
Game of the year.
Oh no, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
There's no way. There's too many good games
so
for that to get nominated.
Death Stranding 2 get the nomination?
I believe so.
Definitely.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I think Stranding 2.
Yeah, are you Game Awards? Jeff Keighley show?
Jeff Keighley, right?
Absolutely. That's
gonna be well. Like the three locks would probably be Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, and Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yes.
Like I could see.
I still think Hades too. I think in reality, who's gonna battle it out? I think it's gonna be Split Fiction or Hades 2. That's gonna be the real.
I might sink in though.
All Blueprints. The media, not us. I don't know if any of y'all played it, but I know the media adores that game. Blueprints.
Yeah, Blueprints. That's the one. That's the puzzle game that Nib keeps playing, right? That's singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That could be the Balatro of this year.
It could be the okay. So then Silk Song gets the nom or no?
I think so because of Shadow of Erdtree, but Duff says no.
The thing is, it's like it's so tight because you can only have 6, right? And 3 are already a lock, so you have 3 spots left, and you have like 15 games vying for them.
Y'all forgetting about Monster Hunter Wilds too. Monster Hunter.
I don't think that's.
I don't.
Yeah, Jay, that ran into a.
I think that and Kingdom Come 2 might drop out. And
how did Monster Hunter Wilds release this year, but Astrobot didn't? I'm so confused with the timeline right now.
Monster Hunter released in February.
Yeah,
bro, it feels older than Astrobot. I played 80 hours of Monster Hunter Wilds, and I enjoyed it, but I think Worlds is a far superior game than Wilds. But like, for goodness sake, man, like it feels like it came out a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so confused right now.
Yeah,
what's going on?
The Astrobot won Game of the Year last year.
Oh, bro, of course it did.
Yeah.
The thing is, like that's why I thought it was an interesting topic, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people getting snubbed. The game.
It's honestly, Death Singer. We're only kind of sparking this topic because games are still going to be coming out, right? You still have. Silent Hill F is not going to get a nomination. I don't think so. That one's not. I don't think you're going to hear. The Battlefields. The Battlefields never get a nomination for something like that. They're out. They're completely out.
Will 2 won't.
I guess Ghost of Yotei is. I have to play it. I really have to play it before I start to chime in on that. It could very easily get a Game of the Year nomination. I know you guys are not going to maybe ride along with me there, but
I think it'll be my Game of the Year.
I don't think
it'll be my Game of the Year.
You saying it will be, Willie?
I reckon so. Yeah, Death Stranding 2. Sadly, I'm a little bit heartbroken about it. To be honest, I'm still recovering.
So you think Ghost of Yotei might take over DS2 for you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising.
I do, because like I've just gone back and revisited Tsushima, and again, like I can't stress enough, Tsushima is the only game where I've spent more hours in photo mode than actually playing the game, and I've probably spent about 100 hours in photo mode and 70 hours in game on that game, and it was the only game that I've enjoyed every second of platinuming. Like I'm a guy who chases trophies. I don't have the patience to platinum games, but not for a single second was Ghost of Tsushima a chore. I loved absolutely every single second of that game, and it's near and dear to my heart. It's also one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. It's just like visually, it's just outstanding. So for Yotei to be lauded as superior in every way, that I know Death Stranding 2 was as well, but I don't do it to be contrarian. I do it because I'm passionate. But like for me, Death Stranding 2 was better in all the wrong ways. It was like, it was more like a literal driver delivery simulator instead of kind of exploring a world that kind of beckons you and is kind of exists with or without you in it. It felt very contrived to me compared to the first game, and so I think Yotei has a very high chance to be my Game of the Year, because the first game is just outstanding, and photo mode in that game as well. Like the amount of like like the joy of kind of creating moments in that game. It's just I still go back and look through pictures that I took in that game because it's just so amazing. And so I think Yotei's gonna be a huge win for me.
What I think I'm going to do with this topic, though, Dessinger, because you do bring up a good point, is there's a lot to discuss, and I think there's going to be a little bit more meat on the bone as we go through the rest of this year, but as we kind of creep and crawl towards December. But I think that I'll bring this back up at least once a month because attitudes will change. If people play more games that are going to be potential nominees, our thoughts on that will change. But I do want to say this. I'm going to end here. We are at, 3.5 hours, which I think for Deathsinger would call like just a walk around the park. But nonetheless, I will say this has been a great show. I want to thank everybody that's here. I want to thank everybody for the super chats. I want to thank everyone in the chat for just being awesome and keeping the conversation rolling for 3.5 hours. I want to thank this amazing panel. Some of the people left, I'll give them shout outs at the end for sure. But I'll go in reverse order here and say shout out to Wooly Gamer. Wooly, as always, buddy, thanks for being here, man. The passion, love you have for gaming. If people don't realize that, then they're missing out on the great Wooly Gamer, buddy. Let everybody know where they can find you. And thanks for joining us tonight.
I've loved every second, and it's been a privilege being on the panel with Red as well. And shout out to Tim Dog and also you, Jez, missed you, buddy. And of course, the legendary Barry. Love you, bro.
Yes.
I hope people know that my banter is always in jest. I never have a malicious intent in anything that I say to Deathsinger or, it's always banter and it's always meant in good fun and good spirit. So with that said, you can find me Wooly Gamer YT for YouTube on Twitter. And it's been awesome. Thanks for having me on, Mooch.
Always,
I've really
brother.
Loved it.
Love having you on, Wooly. Always great. The great Red Hood 420, by the way. Red, listen, buddy, I got to tell you, man, you have a knack for great podcasting, and I know that you've been just really busy. But I gotta say, I really hope I'm not gonna stop bugging you. I'm legitimately gonna write you again in a week.
I'm gonna try tell you right now, like, bro, I appreciate it, dude. Just a lot going on in life. Things are starting to calm down now, so that's why I was like able to do that. So.
Well, buddy, listen, I got to tell you, I want to have you on the show as much as you're available. So I'll reach out to you again in a week or so. You let me know, or you just tell me. All you have to do is say, Mooch, I'm available, and I'd like to get you back on, buddy. It's been a long time coming, and I do appreciate your take on games. You always have a very cool, calm, collective voice, and sometimes that can be a very hectic topic. So I love that about you. But, Red, let people know where they can find you. And, of course, thanks for being here tonight.
I appreciate it, of course. Everyone hit the like button for Crossfire.
Please.
And appreciate everybody that pulled by. Jez, Tim Dog, Jay Barry. I've been on podcast with him along with Usual Suspects. Shout out to Sentry.
Yes, sir.
And shout out to you. And shout out to you, Deathsinger, and you as well, Wooly. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, RedHood240, and Twitch and YouTube at RedHood420. I'll probably stream tomorrow, so look forward to that. Talk, gaming stuff, movie stuff, and play some Marvel Rivals on Twitch as well. So
yes, go over and follow him on Twitch, please. Honestly, I'm a big Twitch supporter, so a lot of people just stream it over on YouTube because the channels, I understand that's where a lot of people have their viewers, but try to build that Twitch page because I think Twitch is a lot of fun for just gaming. You can just hop from channel to channel, see so many different people playing in different forms of entertainment and gaming too, which is really cool. So shout out to Red Hood. Appreciate that. The great Jay Barry, everybody. Jay, listen, I love what you're doing with your channel. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell everybody until you bring it back. I want you and Persona to come back. What's up, PlayStation? I don't know what to do on Saturday without you guys, but I will tell you this much. I love what you're doing with the channel. I love how much gaming content you're putting out there. Every time you're playing the game, you got boss battles, you got tips, you got tricks, you got everything going on. You're also covering events. Jay, let people know where they can find you, and thank you for being with us the whole 3.5, by the way. Shout out to you, Jay.
Oh, man, yeah, yo, big shout out to you, Mooch, man. Appreciate it. We're going to try to get my PC fixed so I can get back to making content because my
yes, please,
kind of messing up. But it's a pleasure always talking to the PC fanboys on the panel.
Whoever could you be speaking about, bro?
Oh, no, listen, hey, it's always good, talking to different opinions and the banter and whatnot, man. So I know everybody's pretty passionate over here, so. It's good to talk to passionate gamers and, everybody have the same commonality. They're enthused and, they like gaming. But he does different perspectives. It's always cool to have that.
Facts.
But
yes.
Yeah, man, State of Play was amazing. Anybody that rates any other show better than that State of Play needs to be checked. But like Wooly said, the singer, that's my guy. We've been going back and forth for years. You know what I mean? Bless Red, he sucks at video games. He don't play them. But and oh yeah, shout out to Astro Cyborg, man. If you want to rewatch Mooch's podcast, you most likely see it on Astro Cyborg's Twitter channel.
Right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Give him a like.
Make sure when you see Astro Cyborg screen record Mooch's podcast, it's up to you to let him know. Make sure he dropped the link every goddamn
promote the show.
That's very disrespectful.
That's right. Promote the show.
Barry,
thank you.
I know. With your whoops and everything, you've had like amazing contacts and connections with those at PlayStation. Please, for the love of all things gaming, can you get them to re-release Concord? I'm begging you, bro. Like,
hey, I need that too, man. Listen, I'm still cool with a lot of people from Firewalk too, man. And listen, I would love for them to re-look at Concord and bring that
diabolical, to bro. What's happened to that game? It's so unfair. It's so unjust.
Yeah, man. I need that back as well. I definitely agree. You know,
we'll do it.
I miss it, bro.
Bully,
shout out to Death Singer for not buying it on the PC.
It's because of you, Death Singer, that it failed, bro.
Shout out to the devs of Concord not realizing their audience.
All PC Amaris are goons who just want half-naked females.
Nah, it's not even that. Shout out to Marvel Rivals. They understood the MO, right? Marvel Rivals understood what their audience wants, hence success. So, I mean, you just have to listen to your audience. You see what works.
Oh, you want to see skin?
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
Be honest about it, bro. Be honest about it. You're a gooner. That's all right. No
I am. I play with mobs on Stellar Blade. What are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it?
I'm a miss Concord. That's what I'm gonna do about it. I'm just gonna miss Concord.
Yeah, really true. Anybody that play Concord, you're like, all right, what's the difference other than Marvel characters and the women characters they show skin? You know what
I mean? The difference is it's an actual hero shooter, whereas Concord tried, but they didn't have any ultimates or big maps or anything. So it was kind of half a shooter. It should have been an arena shooter.
You said Concord ain't had no big maps?
Well, not like Marvel Rivals.
Take that back. Take that back. Nah, okay. You crazy. You play the game.
Actually, no, I played the beta.
I agree with you. I agree with you with the ultimates. I knew where they was going without the ultimates, but
the thing is,
as far as maps, there's thing is though,
if they portrayed it as an arena shooter instead of a hero shooter, they would have done a lot better. But they went in hero shooter category and pushed it that way.
They did say that in their marketing. It's a hybrid, arena hero shooter, but a lot of people didn't watch that stuff. Singer, apparently.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, people were excited to see entire movies in their game. It
was better before Arrival because you didn't judge it based on its merits. You judged it based on your sexual appetite.
Well, actually, to be honest, when they first showed it off, I thought it was the Guardians of the Galaxy game. But,
yo, shout out to JC 2013. Let Mooch go to bed. He got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I need to go to bed too.
Yeah,
I got to at 5.
That's
screw bed. We're talking about Concord.
Jay, let people know where they can find you so I can get the Death Singer, and then we're gonna do another 25 minutes.
You ain't got to worry about me, man. End of the day, this is about you, Mooch. Make sure they hit the like button. Make sure they subscribe. And if you want to further support Mooch, then you become a member of his channel.
Thank you, Jay.
Because at the end of the day, people will follow you, people will subscribe to you, and then as soon as you say something that they don't like, they will unfollow and unsubscribe. So
yes,
if you don't follow me if you don't want to, if you're sensitive, that's pretty much.
Don't follow Jay if you're sensitive. Shout out to Jay Barry, the great Jay Barry, everybody. Jay, thanks for being here. Death Singer, let people know where they can find you, and as always, buddy, always keeping things entertaining on Crossfire, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
This was a great Crossfire because Red Hood, who understands me,
Red's great. Red's great.
The thing is, he explained it to you what I look for in games. So in case you didn't get it,
90 shining armor, bro.
Hey man, no, it's just someone who knows me, knows my gaming habits, understands where I'm coming from. And shout out to Willie and Jay Barry, of course. It's chat. It's never anything personal. It's just passionate gaming topics
That's
and
right.
some roasting. Like, I will always call it state of mid, but I don't hate PlayStation. It is what it is. You'll just have to live with it. But yeah, Expedition 33 still my game of the year, and it was a great show. Hit that like button.
I appreciate that, Death Singer. Thank you so much. Couple shout outs to the guys who had to leave early. Shout out to the Gaming Grindhouse, Jez7780. That's at Jez7780. Go over and check him out as well. Brap, who popped in, aka Coach. That's at Brap_podcast, and he goes Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Go over and check him out. The great Tim Dog. I've known Tim almost 11, 12 years now. Shout out to at Super Tim Dog. Go over and follow him on X if you really want to talk games. He's great. The great D Batch as well, at D_Batch. Always great to get D on here and to get his opinion on what's going on, buddy. He's an outstanding gentleman in the community as well. Talks games, PC, everything else. And the great Nib, who couldn't make it with us tonight, but he's probably sleeping and he's resting, and he's where me and Jay Barry have to be because we eventually have to go to work in about 5 hours. So shout out to the great Nib. It's at Nib95_. Right, Jay? We got to go to sleep, man. Listen, I'll tell you this much, guys. Enjoy your games. I'm going to be gaming a lot this weekend. By the way, Mooch's birthday on Saturday. Who knew? Who cares? Nobody probably, but that nonetheless, I'm going to be celebrating. We're going to have a couple of great drinks, playing games, hanging out. So I want to say thanks to everybody. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you, Red. I appreciate everybody being here. We're going to do something great next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Go play some games. Enjoy the community. We'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Good night.
Peace out.